watch chat. Chat, tell us if there's anything weird happening with the audio.
Space, the boundary of human achievement, the new frontier.
It's just a cough.
Yeah, right. And the Earth is flat.
In a few moments, you will have an experience which will seem completely real. It can be extremely harmful and result in severe trauma. You have 5 seconds to terminate this tape. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Flat Earth expert Mark Sargent thinks the moon landing was a hoax.
Technically, the moon itself is a hoax.
Right, but betting with Sportsbet's new iPhone app?
I could do this standing on my head.
Thanks, Gravity. Sportsbet's new iPhone app. It's
Hold on,
foolproof.
I know how we're different. Do you believe the Earth is flat?
I know it's flat. I walk on it.
Holy sh**.
Do you think the Earth is flat, Snoop? What do you think?
It's a flat world after all.
Smoke weed every day.
We're just gonna let this run. Should be fine. Yeah, it's maxed out. They're high. Broadcasting straight to you from a large spaceship currently at war with mainstream science. Meanwhile, the peanut gallery is spending Christmas Eve with his family. What is he thinking? Flat Earth comes first, damn it. Welcome to Strange World, where the truth is often stranger than fiction. Seriously, Peanut, what are you doing? I'm your host, Mark Sargent, the creator of Flat Earth Clues, which propose that all of us are living inside a Truman Show enclosed structure, thousands of miles wide. Just Google Flat Earth Mark. If you can't find it, well, you're just not very good at the internet. Currently, the show is on Tuesday nights at 7 Pacific, 10 Eastern, and yes, Caroline, if it is not Christmas Eve, December 24th, 2024, then you are listening to a rerun. That's kind of a cool thing. 12, 24, 24. Hey, numerology. Don't forget this show can be found on BitShote and Brighteon, Rockfin, Rumble, and Spotify. YouTube is not the end of Flat Earth. It is only the beginning. Quote of the day goes exactly like this fun thing. A man with a new idea is considered crazy until it succeeds. Who said that? Mark Twain. One of our own. Of course, he kind of got dark in his later years, but that's a whole nother thing. My co-hosts are in the upper left, broadcasting from the old Russian Republic, the perfect Patricia Steere. And in the upper right...
Privyet, comrade.
Niet. And in the upper right, the delightful DJ Curious. And in the lower right, who will be talking at some length, but not until we finish our promotions. Special guest, Nathan Thompson. Oh, wait a minute, you're wearing the glasses. Nice.
Mark gave me these glasses 8 years ago at the very first Flat Earth International Conference, and I, for some reason, managed to hang on to these after doing like 300 meetups. They didn't break. I don't know. It's like the only thing I've kept over the last 8 years.
Wow.
So cheers, Mark. These are
That's really, really cool, man, because again, those could be a collector's item one day because those are on the movie poster for Behind the Curve. Those were the ones that I wore in the elevator that eventually became the movie posters. So that's awesome. Very, very cool.
No way. That's so cool.
Yeah. I've only had a couple pairs of them, and, well, we'll get into it. All right, so hang tough. Sometimes it's hard to find Flat Earth friends, but there's an easy way to find cool people like yourself and solid info about our stationary horizontal level plane. The solution is simple. It's the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. Watch the featured video every day for 2 weeks and see what happens. It'll be the best $2.99 you've ever spent. So sleepy. Oh my God, I didn't change it. Hang on. I got to figure out which one it is. Okay. Let's see. So sleepy because it's 10 p.m. on the East Coast. It's time to say goodnight to one of our listeners, Paige. She just put on her Gulliver's Travels pajamas from 1968. Got a cup of cocoa with exactly 6 tiny marshmallows, and we'll probably listen to the playback in the morning. Good night, Paige.
Good night,
Paige.
I almost said fantastic voyage again. It's like, didn't you say that last week? It's like, nope. I caught it at the very end. Oh, thank God. Shout outs to Flat Earthers, Stephen Carpenter, the Deftones. Support the Flat Earth cause and get the coolest hoodies ever, won't you? Go to the Strong.family, pick up some merch. Don't forget the Deftones are going to be touring in 2025 in a city near you. I'm hoping to see them in Seattle. Stefan, give me a call when you get a chance. You know what? If we get a chance, maybe we'll get them on the show before they launch on their tour here pretty soon. I don't remember where it starts, but I'm pretty sure it starts in the middle of February. Mailbag. We actually got some handmade Christmas cards from Flat Earthers. Yeah, I'm going to show them to you really quick. They're so handmade. I can't. All right. There's one for each of us, right? Here's one for me called Mysterious Wonders. And I'm not going to read all that's in here, but it's from, let's see. No one can say when the shepherds found him in a manger lay. Happy holiday, love and prayers, the Flat Earth family from Rising Fawn, Georgia. And here's a little thing that they got here. Okay. They made these things in a hurry because when it got here, as you know, when it shipped through the mail, it's cold. They use so much glue. The glue is still drying on these things. I can't begin to tell you the amount. This smells so much like elementary school. And I thought it was just adorable.
That's so nice, though.
We got one for, let's see, which one's... I'm having a hard time opening these with one hand. Happy birthday. Happy holiday. Patricia, season's greetings to the season that you are in. I give thanks to the God. The new seasons begin. Trends come and go, but you'll never go out of style, don't you know? Hey, it rhymes.
Oh, nice.
Love and prayers, the Flat Earth family from Rising Fawn, Georgia. There's yours, Patricia.
Very lovely.
And
that's so cool.
One for DJ.
What?
Yep.
That's crazy.
Here's one right here. Right there. And it quotes John 10:22, and it was at Jerusalem, the feast of dedication, and it was winter. And I got to open this thing up. So appreciate DJ Curious and all the fun he brings. Thanks, Mark, for having DJ on the show, and thanks to DJ for staying curious. Happy holiday, love and prayers, the Flat Earth family from Rising Fawn, Georgia. And if we do...
That's so sweet. Thank you.
Yeah. There's a little thing on the inside. Handwritten. And which, by coincidence, we've been talking about it, and we'll know in the next couple of weeks if we are going to pull the trigger on the Flat Earth. It will be the ninth Flat Earth Conference, which will be in Georgia at the end of September 2025. There's all sorts of secret plans that are happening. I'm plotting behind the scenes and trying to get this thing going, and it looks pretty good right now. And if it goes the way I think it's going to go, boy, are you guys going to have fun.
That's awesome.
I can tell you at the very least, it's going to be They're trying to get Piedmont University, but there's another venue that's interested, which may be even more entertaining, which is about 10 miles away from Piedmont University, which is northwest of Atlanta in Georgia. So I encourage you all to be there. I almost guarantee that family's going to be there, though. Almost guarantee it.
That was very thoughtful. So it wasn't in your handwriting to make us feel better?
No, they sent me. No, again, it was so great because all the cards, they used so much glue that all these cards were stuck together. And I didn't even know they were separate cards. And I'm like peeling them apart. It's like, oh, there's one for DJ. And oh, hey, there's one for Patricia. So, yeah. So you guys want to send anything to DJ or Patricia specifically, please mail them to me. As you know, my mailing address is in the description box of every single video I make, including my phone number and everything else. Let's see here. Meetups. Let me announce these really quick. There's going to be a meetup in Minnesota, December 28th. That promo is on my channel. And the Flat Earth Social Meetup has expanded to Wales, if you don't know where that is. I mean, who cares, right? Scotland, Ireland, they're basically the same thing. That's going to be January.
No, they're not. People who live there would be so angry.
Oh, no, come on. We're Americans. No, there was a friend that told me that, like, never confuse the two, right? He's like,
well, don't ever confuse Scotland and England, for sure.
There's Scotland. There's Ireland. There's the bloody sea. Now get the hell out of here.
Oh, you do that well.
It's better than my Russian Dracula, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway.
I lost practice in doing Russian Dracula. You and I used to be able to do it pretty good.
Well, that's because we haven't talked to our secret daughter from Belarus in some time.
Very true.
Yeah. Anyway, the Wales meetup will be there January 7th. And you know what? I don't think we have to run the Fast Earth clue this week unless DJ insists on it. That's the Bryce Mitchell clip. Just Bryce bashing. Do you want me to run it?
I mean, I always think it's fun.
All right. We'll see. We'll run it. So this will be 60 seconds of Bryce Mitchell trashing Elon Musk. It's kind of fun. What happens when I hit this button?
You've been critical of Elon Musk. How do you feel about his involvement with the Doge?
Well, I think that time will prove me correct. Time will always reveal someone's true character, and if you put that man in a position of power, his true character will be revealed. And let's just put it this way. He has all the money in this country. He's the wealthiest man in the country, and he wasted on fucking rockets, man. Think about it, dude. He could actually help people with that money, but he don't give a shit about you. He's got all the money in the world to help you. It'd be a penny to him, and you would never have to work again. He don't give a shit about you, though. He wants to waste it on rockets and waste it on all these cars that suck. And time will reveal the character of that man. And the more he gets under the spotlight, you can't fake it forever. His character will be revealed, and you mark my words, it will be seen that he is a rat bastard. And, if I had all that money, I would like to think I would help people more than he does.
Yeah. Bryce Mitchell did not mince words there. Did you know he's a UFC fighter and they love winners? So when he wins, they talk to him, and when he loses, they don't talk to him. And so they were having fun, and it was an interesting take by Bryce Mitchell, which was he doesn't like Elon, but for a completely different reason than why we don't like him. And it's like, why you've got plenty of things to worry about on the Earth. Why are you worried about space so much? Why are you spending so much time? It's because space is a distraction. That's why. And
wait, but what do you mean different? What do you think Bryce Mitchell? He's a flat earther. You knew that, right?
No, I do. But he's going after Elon for wasting. Yeah, of course he's a flat earther. But he's attacking Elon more for the which is interesting, by the way, because he's in fact what do you call it, like a flat Earth punch recently. You can look that up. Bryce Mitchell's flat Earth punch, and people make fun of him. It's like, no, he's a strong Christian. He's got huge convictions in a lot of things, and I love the fact that it's not just me that tears down Elon on a regular basis. My family thinks, it's like, you got an obsession with Elon. It's like, yeah, because he doesn't deserve any of what's going on, and I will be proven right in that whole Doge program that he's doing. I'm going to start cutting spending from everything. No, he's not going to cut anything. He'll talk about it. He'll suggest it, but red tape in the government is set up for a reason, and there's no way any group will be able to carve through that red tape. Not in a year, not in 4 years. So when politicians go to him, it's like, and I love the fact that some of the other politicians like, you have no authority to do anything. It's like, no, he doesn't. So he's not going to. But didn't stop him from doing the whole, again, don't want to take away from the guest. Look it up. Look up the Dear Moon Project from 2017. It is one of my favorites, where he was going to send a space bus, otherwise known as a shuttle, which we don't even run anymore, around the moon with artists and painters and influencers. 7 years later, it was canceled. It took 7 years to cancel that damn thing. That's just one of his highlights. Anyway, our guest for tonight is the notorious... How shall I introduce you? Okay, I'll give you a little... Nathan probably knows some of this. So, or maybe you don't know this part. David and I have talked about it several times. So the first conference, which you attended in Raleigh back in the day in 2017, Patricia and I were there as well. I remember we asked a whole bunch of people, it's like, whatever you do, because I didn't know you very well at all. It's like we don't want to look nuts, so nobody wear a costume. Everything was going fine. And then David...
And all of a sudden...
David pulls me off to the side, and he goes, who's that guy? He goes, we need to kill that guy. Who is it? Because there was a guy who had cut a hole in a globe and put sunglasses on it and put it on his head, and the press couldn't get enough of it.
Oh my God. So you're that guy? I didn't even know that. That's hilarious.
He's that guy. And
wow.
To be fair, again, if I knew then what I know now, which is the media's looking for a hook. They're looking for anything, they look for something to talk about. And the Antarctic thing, a perfect example, which we'll get into. But that's how I first met Nathan Thompson. Was you walking around with you didn't wear it very long because I'm sure it was uncomfortable as hell. And then I just saw you walking around normally, and it was a freaking zoo around there. But because of that, the producers, notably the director Daniel Clark from Behind the Curve, he got a hold of me. It's like, oh yeah, we're thinking of reaching out to Nathan Thompson. It's like, yeah, right on. It's great.
And then the first scene, I think, in Behind the Curve with Nathan was you juggling or throwing. I don't know if it's juggling, really. What do you call it?
When you're bound,
Yeah, I had the sledgehammer. I was bouncing golf balls off the...
Yeah, it's like... Yeah. I don't know if it's juggling. You know what I mean? I don't know what that's called, but it's something that I can't do, and I'd say 100% of the audience can't do.
The mental gymnastics. I have to remind people on a regular basis that you do. It wasn't just you juggling golf balls on hammers, which is really tough to do. You were doing, and what'd you call it back in the day? Was it mental gymnastics? What'd you call it?
I just call it brain training.
Brain training, yeah. And you were rattling off. In fact, that again, you guys didn't hear it because when we were testing out the show, normally I'll have Patricia and DJ, rattle off the alphabet to me when we're doing the audio. But in Nathan's case, he did the alphabet backwards, which, as some of you may or may not know, that's a DUI test that the cops give people, or the anesthesiologist will have you try to do that before they knock you out with drugs on the operating table. And you just...
But also, Mark, you can go a zebra that's black and yellow coughs extra deep. That would be the alphabet from the outsides in. A, Z, B, Y, C, X, D, W, E, V, F, U, G, T, H, S, I, R, J, Q, K, P, L, O, M, N. Or you go from the inside out also. N, M, O, L, P, K, Q. Because ninjas merely outline proper kicking qualifications, but Jesus' recommendation is heavenly. So just memory training I started doing early. And then you train the memory, it's like a muscle. And you just start picking things up naturally that you want to learn. Yep. Like it's second nature because you train the memory to work like a muscle. So
yep. I agree. In fact, if it wasn't
That's
for...
awesome.
I have noticed, I haven't told you this, DJ, but ever since I've been doing the Fast Earth clues, when I've been firing out, trying to do the 60-second things, my short term has gotten way, way better. to where now I have been watching, probably a bad idea. I've been watching a lot of Netflix stand-up, critiquing them while they're doing it of how they're firing off things, because stand-up is just memory, and it's interesting watching do it. So yeah, Nathan, you're the king of that stuff. So we haven't even really got to the intro yet, which is what caught my eye recently was you have been the prime go-to guy at you and Austin. I don't know, you've done more than Austin has on modern day debates.
Yeah, maybe a handful more, but he's on there quite
Yeah, he's on there.
He has a great...
Yeah, between the two of you. But you, I mean, again, with your mental snappiness, I wouldn't want to go up against you in modern day debates. That'd be awful, because you, off the top of your head, you've got most of your flat, because you've been doing this as long as anybody. Because you started when you came to the conference, and forgive me because we didn't know back in the day, you were running the biggest Facebook flat Earth group in the world.
Yeah, we had 80 to 100 moderators, so we had 10 to 20 eyeballs on the group all day long, and we didn't allow cursing or insults. And I don't know if you guys remember what flat Earth was like 10 years ago, but it's different now. The insults and cursing are still bad, but it was pure vitriol like 9-10 years ago. Yeah. And so we had to have people always watching the group. People were constantly melting, frothing, losing their minds, but we did get a lot of questions, and we did have to make memes and come up with coherent responses for all these people's questions, because some people are genuinely trying to learn about flat Earth, just like one time we were level 1, and trying to learn. So I've got really good at mastering some responses to typical questions we get about gravity and the seasons and the 24-hour days and how everything works. I can just parrot a response off like a robot. So. Yeah.
Which is awesome. Again, one of the weaknesses of the globalists, and you've seen it many times, is they think they can go into any debate, and you've seen it, and they could sleepwalk their way through it, where it's like, I got this. It's like, how hard could it be? And then all of a sudden they realize when they're there, wait a minute, I don't know my own model. And we love pointing that out. David loves pointing it out. You love pointing it out, Austin, where it's like, really? Do you know how fast the Earth spins? Do you know how fast it goes around the sun? Do you know how fast the solar system's moving and going through the galaxy and all these other things? Do you know any of that? Then why are you fighting for it so hard?
It's like Mike Tyson said, everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth.
There you go. Mike Tyson, who took the $20 million not to kill Jake Paul.
There are actors on the ISS than in the ring that day. Holy moly, bro.
That was crazy.
Did you see, Nathan, offhand, I got to go off-road for a second here. Did you see the article from Sylvester Stallone on that fight?
No, I didn't see the article, but I have something to say. I just read a book about a CIA mind-controlled robot, S-word. On TikTok, we can't see the S-word, but it's like someone you used to own back in the day.
Yes.
You whip them.
Yeah.
But she said that Sylvester Stallone not only took part in a thing with her daughter and other women at the same time, but they're filming dolphin videos. And I've never heard this before, but she said Sylvester Stallone is a producer of dolphin videos. I'll just say that. And they get these robots to go in the water with the dolphins, and then they film it. And my mind was blown. I was like, she said all the elite are into these videos. Yeah. I don't know why. I don't know how. But it's a thing.
When it comes to creative types, I don't know what's out there. I know that, compromising the creative people, the people in Hollywood, it's not that tough to do. Look, you come to the city, you want to make your dreams, and I'm not picking on any particular groups, but how many times do you have to hear, again, as just a low-level producer, I'd do anything for this part. How many times do you have to hear it before all of a sudden it clicks in your head? It's like, wait, I think they're serious. I think they would do anything for this part. And then they go off the racers. The Sylvester Stallone thing, regardless of what you think of what he does in his spare time, his comment on the fight was brilliant, which was, he goes, Mike Tyson put in an Oscar-winning performance that night. And he wasn't shy about saying it because, again, and people don't get it. Anyone younger, it's like Sylvester Stallone is the authority on how to fake boxing on film. He's the guy. He's done it for decades, right? And won awards along these lines. And he's done it personally and beat himself senseless. In fact, Dolph Lundgren almost killed him in the ring one time, just during through a dry run. Anyway, the fact that he would say that, yeah, Tyson knows. Everybody knows. And of course, you probably saw the recent clip where a lip reader caught Jake Paul yelling in Tyson's ear, because you could see Tyson during those first couple rounds, his blood was up, right, and his instincts were taking over. It's like, oh God, he's gonna kill him. This will be it. I'll be rid of at least half of the Paul problem. And no, Jake Paul reminded him. It's like, dude, right? And so then
Mark, think about how big Flat Earth is. That Jake Paul went against Mike Tyson in like the biggest fight in the last century, and Jake Paul's brother was at our conference watching us speak on stage about Flat Earth. It's like, that's not even 6 degrees of separation. That's like 2 degrees.
Right. Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy.
The Logan Paul thing was so I give credit where credit is due. He was one of the early influencers that knew, because his people did the research. It's like, holy smokes, Flat Earth is trending. He said, I got to get in on this, to where he convinced our promoter somehow to keep it a secret from everyone, every single person, and then only when he wouldn't come downstairs for the meet and greet, the happy hour, that's when Robbie told people. He's told, I think he told David, and David came to me and he goes, it's Logan Paul, and I go, and he looks at me and goes, who's Logan Paul? I go,
who's Logan Paul? You're a good David.
Well, but it's true. Nobody knew the reason why, and I was outraged, and then of course I heard he was going to go on stage before me. It's like, oh, the hell with that. But the fact that nobody knew who he was, and so there was no outrage there, because our demographic skews older, and his demographic is permanently junior high boys, right? Who haven't hit puberty apparently. And so, yeah, for Logan to do that. Oh, yeah, sorry. Last thing, then we'll just get right into more Flat Earth stuff, which was, I love the fact that after the Jake and, because, Jake can't box for a while now because of the controversy. It's like, no, they're not going to. So Logan has apparently has cut a deal with Conor McGregor, and they're going to box in 2025. And people are the sheep are going to fall for it again. It's like, who's going to win? It's like, really? You don't think Conor's going to take the money? He was just in that remake of Roadhouse. Remember, if you guys see the original Roadhouse with Patrick Swayze? Do you remember the remake with Jake Gyllenhaal? Anyone see it? I was the only one that saw it. It was terrible. But Conor McGregor was the big bad. He was the big bad guy. Anyway.
Well, it's interesting to see these influencers cross over into mainstream media and entertainment, because that's what's going to happen. The youth is going to push for that. So it's like they're making these Logan and Jake Paul brothers celebrities. And it is funny that they try to punk you at that conference. And then, I don't know, it sounds like Nathan stayed, but Mark, you bailed, right? You were like, I'm out.
Yep. I was pissed off to no end. I was angry in that for a couple of reasons, and again I'm sorry to everybody, that especially Patricia, that I made that move, but at the same time I was somewhat vindicated in that several months later, can't believe it took him that long for Logan to release his hit piece against us featuring Robbie Davidson, poor Robbie. But at the end, during like a making of, not only did he do a punk video, not Netflix or anything like that, but he also did a making of the punk video where he and his buddy, his right-hand man, were talking about, oh yeah, we got everybody. And then he stopped. It's like, well, except for that Mark Sargent guy. And it's like, oh, thank God, because they weren't going to get everybody on it.
The Reckless Ben series was trying to get you out so they could prank you with the Harvard students. I don't know, and they said you wouldn't go last minute, and they invited me.
Oh yeah, the one where they were folding toilet paper on the road, that one? Oh yeah, man, let's talk about that, Nate. Okay, so these guys,
so much. I've got 3 pages of notes I want to get.
Okay. So that one I just got to mention really quick, which was, I get invited to all sorts of fun things, and trolls, I can usually sniff them out pretty easily. And in that case, they actually bought me a ticket to go down to Palm Springs without even, they just picked, it's like, oh, no, here's your ticket. It's like, I haven't even picked what times. Nobody buys you an airline ticket, but they were so, champing at the bit to get that done. And I just...
Oh my gosh, I love how you said champing at the bit instead of chomping. No one says it. You said it correctly.
Officially, champing is the way to say it.
It's champing at the bit. I just had to stop you in the middle of what you're saying because nobody knows that. Anytime I say that, champing at the bit, people will correct me and say, no, it's chomping. I'm like,
it's not. And thank you, Patricia. If all the people, you would understand that reference. However, because so many people have said chomping, they have now written.
I know.
They now
It's almost become.
No, it
correct.
has. It's now become
You're
acceptable.
correct.
You can type it in Wiki or whatever, Google it, and they're both accepted now.
Well, I won't accept.
Champing. It's freaking champing. Anyway, last minute, they bring Nathan out to California. Were you already in California at the time?
No, bro. I had to get a dog sitter. I was in Virginia. They flew me out. Said it was for a debate with 2 Harvard students. Turns out they weren't even Harvard students, and there was no debate. They wanted to fold toilet paper and then send some sort of magnetic signal to Kazakhstan, and then they pretended they found out the Earth was flat and went around doing activism with me for 2 days. And somehow that was an L for flat Earth. I don't know. I still haven't figured it out. But they paid for my hotel. They paid for my food. They paid for my dog sitter. And they lied to me. And like, I don't know. The real troll would have been just prove it's a globe with me looking at the proof and then film me being like, oh my gosh, I was wrong.
Yeah.
But they can't do that.
No, you did fine. It wasn't an L. I don't consider really anything an L. Even Antarctica, I consider that a big W in the end. You just don't see it yet. And I'm so glad that Austin said on an interview recently, he goes, you wait. He goes, long term, this is going to get nothing but better for us. You know, it's generating massive amounts of discussion. I'm really surprised the American media hasn't jumped on it more. Love the fact that, as I showed Patricia and DJ, the fact that the New York Post, when they ran it on their on their thing, that's like, oh yeah, it's like, oh, here's a picture of Jaron Campanella, and it wasn't. It was freaking Will Duffy. So Will Duffy, flat earther, goes back to globe.
Right. That's what he gets.
Yep.
Well, I mean, we might as well ask Nathan, since he's our guest, to start things off. What do you think of the first expedition, aka the final experiment?
Well, I'm calling it the first non-experiment because for 10 years, Globers heard us say the Earth is flat, it's not rotating, space is fake, and they said, hey, we're going to go look at the sky in Antarctica. So it's their first non-experiment. I have to congratulate them for doing something because for 10 years, I feel like they haven't really been doing much. But how I feel about it, I think we need to look at more of the data before we start deciding what really happened, if it was real or fake. I know both the guys, and until I see like a physical pay stub from NASA, I'm not calling either of those guys shills. I've spent 3 months in an RV with Austin. When you live in close quarters with someone, you just know them. And then I've shared 4 or 5 stages with Jaron. I've met him at 4 or 5 meetups. And he does debates on flat Earth. He does great flat Earth videos. He puts out good information. And you're telling me all of that was a buildup to what? Say he went to Antarctica and saw a sun? Like, and I don't have a problem with the 24-hour sun because we can already model it on a flat Earth. Globers can't model anything. We can get into that later. I actually want to talk about that. But as far as the 24-hour sun, I'm just waiting, holding my opinion on as far as the evidence and the research. But I want to go down there next year and see it for myself. I think that would be cool. So if that's possible, I'm going to go for it.
Right on. Did they? I've got to ask. Did they reach out to you at any point, or were you off the table?
No, yeah, they actually had a list of flat earthers, and everyone's messaging me saying, Nathan, why don't you go to Antarctica? Why don't you go? And I said, all right, tell them I'll go. And they emailed us back and said, nobody knows who you are. You're not popular in the flat earth community.
Whatever.
Rude.
No, they didn't want. No, you would be one of those people you would not want down there. You would turn it into something else, and they wouldn't like it.
With my infrared camera, dude, I would not have lined up like a toy soldier after being down there for 10 hours and be like, yeah, well, we saw the 24-hour sun. It's like, I wouldn't have done any of that.
I know.
So, yeah, I understand why they wouldn't have brought me down there. I would have just been debunking the globe the whole time. And then when they're like, hey, Nathan, will you come on camera and tell us what you saw? I'm like, nope. Why do I have to get up there? Yeah, I have final edit. So I'm going to say whatever I want to say. We're going to get the closing remarks. Just the 10 or 15 seconds of them going up there and saying, yeah, we saw the 24-hour sun. That's all they needed. Yeah. The final edit doesn't mean anything anymore. But that's my critique on the situation.
No.
And I think
you're not wrong. There's one of the things I've said. It's one of the internet rules, which is you do not apologize on the internet. I'm not hammering on Jaron. I love Jaron. Love his work. I love what he's done. You know, he's been with us hand in hand for the last 10 years. But it's one of those internet rules, and this is for everybody else. You don't say you're sorry for anything, especially when it comes to social media. You just don't. It goes along with the traffic accident. You get an offender bender, every lawyer will say the same thing. Never say you're sorry, because you're half admitting guilt right then and there. And in this case, I mean, you've seen the headlines that they've been running with. It's like, flat earther renounces, it goes back to globalism, and that's clickbait. And then halfway down the article, of course, they specify. But again, there's nothing lost in it, in that it's generated huge amounts of discussion. Anyway, go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've got a ton of views. More views in the last 2 weeks than I've gotten in the last 2 years on my videos. I mean, I'm telling you, I have multiple videos with over 100,000 views on this topic alone. The algorithms are just going crazy. So if there's ever a time for the community to unite, I think now would be a great time. Yep. Also, their hit pieces always backfire. Like when I went on the Netflix special with Mark and said, official Flat Earth and Globe discussion, the next day I had 1,200 member requests. And the day after that, I had 2,200 member requests, and then 2,500 member requests. And I click approve on all the ones that were real profiles, and the member count went up 100 people. And so we're censored in the algorithms. We're fighting an uphill battle. That's why I think if you can share this show, if you can get flyers, share the truth, scream it from the rooftops. You don't take a lamp and put it under your bed. You put it on the porch. Flat Earth is always a W. I've never come out of sharing Flat Earth and been like, oh, man, I really shouldn't have done that. I mean, that was a terrible idea. It just doesn't happen. So, cheers.
Yep. Wow. Well, you bring up a lot of really interesting things. I mean, number one, you're speaking to the character of Jaren and Austin, which I think is great, because you obviously, the three of you have gotten to know them over the years, much better than a lot of us. So it's great to hear that. And also to just say, like, hey, the Flat Earth community needs to unite, because what's happening on the ground, or what's happening in the sky, is no indication of what's happening on the ground. And I got to learn about you three through Behind the Curve, and I think just for people that aren't aware, I mean, that was maybe a lot of people who could be watching's first introduction to the three of you and the roles that you played in that. And so you guys know firsthand how they can twist the truth and manipulate the narrative however they want. And so, yeah, I mean, I think the Flat Earth community is up in arms because they see the frustration of what could have been prevented. But at the same time, let's look at the silver lining. Like you're saying, viewership is up. People are investigating. People are looking into this. And even people that know other people that are into Flat Earth, when they come across this, and then your friend, like for example, one of my friends, they're like, oh, did this just disprove Flat Earth? I'm like, no, I interviewed Jaren. This is no indication that we're back in space and on a spinning ball. And they're like, well, then why'd they even go? What does this prove? And I'm like, it doesn't prove anything. And he goes, interesting. Just sends me back a text, interesting. And I'm like, so people are seeing that the media is lying. And especially after coming out of the past 4 or 5 years with lockdown, people know that misinformation is at an all-time high. So, Nathan, it's great that you're here. I'm so excited that you have come on, and just want to welcome you. And I just have a lot of respect for the three of you just being trailblazers. I mean, I don't know the past on everything, but I just know that you guys have put yourselves out there. And so I tip my hat off to you guys.
Well, thank you, DJ. Appreciate that.
Well, you put yourself out here, DJ, and have for quite some time. So, don't act like you're new. You're not really new. You've been on a lot of different shows. I just am looking around, want to listen to something or watch something, and there's DJ on this panel, and I'm like, way to go. So yeah.
Well, thank you for paving the way, you guys, and giving me kind of, because I got to know all three of you as, from Behind the Curve as characters, very likable, and Nathan, yourself included. I'm watching you do your brain exercises, talking and driving and showing books in the car, and I'm going, this guy is just that kid in school, and maybe I'm wrong, but maybe you're the kid that didn't have to study for the test and could get all the right answers. I don't know. Or maybe you're the kid that was like, a little bit smarter than the average kid and was able to just pick up things fast. I mean, I kind of can picture you. I don't know if that would be true. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's like the media, they exploited it's like literally I feel like you're a lot more intelligent than they're trying to make you look, but you know the truth, so you didn't let it bother you. That's why you're able to have fun.
Yeah.
The funny thing is that you saw it and you didn't really know much about Flat Earth, and you didn't really know us. You just saw it as a movie, and it didn't drive you away or make you think Flat Earth was stupid. And when I think of Behind the Curve and the purpose that they made the film, not the purpose that they told us they were going to make the film for, it's going to be in film festivals. It'll show everyone what real Flat Earthers are like in their real life. Yeah, right. But anyway, you saw it and you didn't think the worst of the people in the Flat Earth and the whole concept, which does give me a little hope that that thing didn't sync a lot of people's thought processes the way they wanted it to.
For me, and I'll just bring it back to Nathan in a second, but for me, it did make me feel like the discussion of Flat Earth was kind of case closed, so it worked on me at that moment.
But here you are.
Well, but because all those seeds were planted, when I went looking for more Flat Earth information, I looked up Mark Sargent to see, well, if this guy's still at it, then maybe there's something to this. And so uniting you three, and we had Jaron on here as also, and Dave, and people who are in Behind the Curve, it's kind of like, in my mind, an E-True Hollywood story. Where are they now? You know, are they still at it? Do they still believe the Earth is flat? And if they do, then that just gives more credibility and credence to the whole movement. And so here we are.
Yeah, I had some people on TikTok say, I looked you guys up years after the documentary because I was like, what are they doing now that they got proven wrong? It's like, wait, they're all still flat earthers? They still make
Yeah.
They're still
Yeah. By the way, I got to throw in really fast, you know, because I saw the documentary in, I don't know, 4 or 5 different film festivals, and one of the biggest laughs that the audience got was you driving in the car, opening up the books for the camera guy, which in this case was Daniel Clark. My God, it was the same reaction every single time, which is like, you know, and he played it off so well, which is like, wait, you know, it's just, you know, there's driving and texting, and it's like, oh, no, we're just going to open up books and start quoting passages. See this here. And I know you're the king of multitasking, but the audience was this nervous laughter / horror. It's like, oh my God. It's like, he's not driving. He's just doing whatever. Like, driving just aside. It's like, driving. Who cares?
Yeah, you have to drive with your third eye when you like do 300 flat Earth meetups and stuff. You're just like focusing with your third eye. Hopefully you get there. But I did have to study. It was just like the period before the test. I would study. I wouldn't like spend all night the night before. That's how I did all my homework. But nobody, and when you say I pick things up fast, there's not one person in the world that argued with about the shape of the Earth. And that's like a badge to me, because I hear so many people for years defending the globe, and I'm just happy there's not one person out there that can be like, I argued with Nathan Thompson when I was a flat earther and he was a globehead. I don't waste my time with that. If someone tells me the Earth's flat and I can go outside and test it, why would I get on the internet and argue with strangers about something I could go test? I'm not that lazy.
Right.
You know what I mean? So.
Absolutely. So what's I know you got a lot of stuff in your notes. We got time. What do you want to what do you want to get off your chest? Hit me.
Just 60 seconds. I want to thank like some of the people who've helped me on my journey.
Yeah.
I'm going to shout out the Tinfoil Hat Factory. Paul and his wife, Crystal, do an amazing job. Paul was recently paralyzed. So if you guys want to go to the Tinfoil Hat Factory, pick up a hat, pick up a sweater. They're doing special releases. This is one of the special releases. It says chemtrails falling from the sky. So they're just awesome. Shout out Density Clothing Company out of Albuquerque, Paraplegic Coffee. I don't know if you guys have had this. My mom's from Brazil. She tried this coffee. Now it's all she drinks. She buys it for her Airbnbs. And he sends me like 10 different flavors, and I'm obsessed. I'm addicted to the stuff. It's really good. He's also another guy who's paralyzed, veteran. He brews this stuff out of Phoenix, Arizona, and he's awesome. Paraplegic Coffee. He's on TikTok. He's on Discord. That guy's awesome. He's one of the bears. This Flat Earth Sun Moon Zodiac Clock app. And Dave,
never heard of it. Never heard of it. Go ahead.
My referral code is NEO, Mark. If you want to download the app, my referral code is NEO. NEO. And then also, like, everyone who buys the flyers from me, I've got Bible and science flyers. Those are both science flyers. This is the Bible flyer right here, 10 proofs. I can go through these later if you guys want to see what's in them. But I have these available for the community. These have Mark Sargent's channel on. Yeah.
Go.
Actually, I don't.
Rattle off the Bible proofs really fast since it's so small.
Yeah, no problem. I'll start real quick. Geocentric Earth talks in Genesis 1, 16 through 17. Talks about it being flat as a seal in Job 38, 14. The firmament dome, so outer space is fake. There's 2 lights in the sky. There's not 1 light and a moon reflecting light. Whoa, I got balloons coming at me. Mark 15:24. The ends of the earth. Talks about the sun halts in Joshua 10. Water's a natural level, Job 37:10. Space is fake, Earth's a circle, it's not a ball. He uses the word ball earlier in that chapter. So the Bible one's awesome. Mark, you're not a Christian, so I did put it in the Bible.
No, I am a Christian. I'm born again for a long, long time.
I know that. I got to get you on the Bible flyers, but you've always been on my science flyers. You're one of the top ones on here. Flat Earth Blues. I love you, bro.
God, who
Anybody
needs
wants-
them? Ah.
Oh, I can put it on here too, Mark.
No, it's cool.
but-
That's awesome. Well, I'm glad you know now. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, good to know. We got ODD too. I remember sharing Christianity with ODD. What I said to him was, if I gave you a gift, you'd open it and you'd accept it. Well, the Creator gave you a free gift. He said, hey, you can spend eternity in heaven. You messed up in the past. It's not a big deal. Why would you reject that? And I remember it kind of resonated with him. He didn't become a Christian for years later. But I remember sharing with ODD back in the day. That's one of the things I do. I have thumb drives with 500 flat earth books, 100 videos, all the best videos. My speech is on there. There's Tesla files, all the hidden books from the Bible, the Apocrypha, Jubilee, Jasher, Enoch. They're all on there. I sell those. I make those available for the community. And then shout out my Patreons. I didn't talk about my Patreons until a month ago, but I had $30 a month on my Patreon, Mark, after 10 years. And you know how much work I put into this community.
Yeah.
$30 a month. It was kind of nice because I've been on TikTok for 6 months. Nobody could say I was doing it for the money because I point at my Patreon. I'm like, I got $30 a month. I can't even pay my cell phone bill with that. You think I'm doing this for the money?
Sure.
And so I started talking about it on my birthday last month, the 22nd. And I have $300 a month on Patreon now, which is huge. I love it. But if you guys could help me, I have so much technology. I've been waiting to get on the road. I got this 200,000 lumen flashlight. It's the most powerful flashlight in the world.
Whoa.
But I'm pairing it with this Fresnel lens right here. So this is what they use in the lighthouses to propagate the light in a parallel fashion. So I turned this on in downtown Vegas during the F1 weekend,
Yeah.
and I'm not kidding. I had a Black Hawk helicopter hovering above my van for 2 minutes. Yeah, my friends were visiting. All around Vegas, screaming flat Earth, and the 8-foot-tall bumblebee transformer looks and make me in the camera. I have the video, and he goes, "Dude, I follow you on TikTok. You're awesome, bro. You're sharing the knowledge with people." And he starts promoting my flyer and pointing at my flyer. I'm like, Bumblebee, bro. Bumblebee follows me on TikTok. This completes me. I was like,
That's awesome.
super excited. But yeah, I've got the infrared camera and a P1000, and I'm planning on doing a trip to Washington, Oregon, Northern California. I want to test Tahoe. I want to test the Pacific Ocean. I need people to press record on the camera. So one, if you're in that area, shoot me an email, flatearthflyers@gmail.com. But also, if anyone wants to support my observations and activism, the whole time I'm going around doing these observations, I'm handing out flyers, talking to people about flat Earth, debating flat Earth on Discord, trying to teach people about the facts. So I just appreciate the support. You guys are awesome. Creator always takes care of me, but you guys are great too. So cheers.
Awesome. Very, very cool.
Sponsors. I got through the sponsors. Sorry.
You
Let me know.
mentioned ODD, and a couple of people in the chat are saying, what happened? He went dark. Does anyone really know what happened?
I don't know. He was dating
People
my friend
speculate.
He was
Go ahead.
He was dating who?
Camilla, a really pretty lady from Sarasota, Florida.
Oh, I remember seeing her. Yeah, pictures.
Yeah, and she's a good Christian lady, and he's coming around, and then I don't know, haven't seen him in 2 or 3 years, but I'm praying for him. But also we have new music that's not ODD, PCs on Spotify. That's the Tinfoil Hat Factory. He dropped 5 new songs, truther songs, and I promise you they're just as good as ODD's old stuff. But yeah, keep ODD in your prayers. I don't know where he is. He's MIA.
All right. If anybody out there knows how to reach him, please do, because 2025 I think is going to be a big unification year for Flat Earth. People are going to give me some crap about it, but it's look, I think Antarctica was a wonderful kicking off event for 2025 for us, because at the very least, and I'll throw in DJ in for a second on this one, which was, look, they spent hundreds of thousands of dollars, globals, to do this. Austin's going to end up going on Candace Owens. Cross my fingers that goes well, and she'll catch some crap for it, which is great. But I want to get out there, because you were on the panel, DJ, because I saw some of the clips where Karen was going off on a freaking jag against some of our teammates, because they were attacked.
I saw that too.
They were attacking Jaron and Austin. Also, again, love the fact, Lisbeth, if you're listening to the show, by the way, we got to get you on here real soon. Love the fact that you were discounted because you're a woman. It's like you weren't even there. Nobody's even talking about you. It just kills me. It's like,
well, in some way, she's not going to have to face all the flack and the second guessing and being called a shill and a liar and an agent. So in some way, I find that for her a blessing.
It is. I love.
It's great that we get to have her eyes and ears to report back of what she picked up on, right? Because she's flying under the radar but she's also really smart. So
she's really smart.
Yeah.
And luckily, she wasn't a flat earther during the time when all women were men, so she didn't have to deal with that.
Yes. But I much love out to Karen B, because Karen B was just digging in,
ripping a new one.
Oh my
is a
God!
way to define what she was doing.
Karen takes no crap. She is no BS. And look, guys, I will never call until. All right, you want to know? And I've said this many times. I don't want to spend a lot of time on it. Which is, there are no official shills in Flat Earth. You know how I know? Because there's no breakout channels. That's the one great thing about our community, because we could spot them in 2 seconds the way we spot trolls at conferences and meetups, which is what happens is if Jared all of a sudden got 1 million followers like Professor Dipshit, that guy, when it's like, again, love the fact that he was on a debate. I don't know if it was you or Austin. And all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, Professor Dave, one of the bigger people with 2 million subs. I'm going, my ass, 2 million subs. And those were natural. Those were organic. We paid for those subs, by the way, Flat Earth. He used Flat Earth money. He used Flat Earth clicks and bought those subs. He can't even put 1,000 people in a chat room. Whatever. Anyway.
But Mark, since you brought that up, I do want to make just a quick point about it. Since I was there. I think that it's like I said earlier, there's a lot of frustration in the community right now because of how things were handled. Everyone's got an opinion on what could have been better, what went wrong, and how they could have prevented it. And I think it was really admirable of Karen to kind of go in there and explain, all the ins and outs of things that we're not really maybe thinking about equipment. It could take a while. And the fact of the matter is we haven't seen what they've brought back yet. But because there's been these sound bites already, it's upsetting a lot of people in the Flat Earth community. And I understand that side too. But fighting with each other is not really going to push. It only makes the Globers think that they're winning and getting to us when we know, we're human. We're allowed to get our emotions out. We're frustrated. But at the same time, we are to welcome them back, knowing their character, like Nathan said, and you guys, and we all know that, Jaron, we sent the right people, and because we've gotten to know them, that they're not just going to flip on us. Now, if that were to happen, and like you said, millions of followers, then I'd be really skeptical. But I think we still need to let them come back, explain what happened, show us what they got, and turn this into a win for Flat Earth. Because that's why I admire Nathan for being kind of silly on all these things, because he knows it's the truth. What do you have to worry about? What do you care? He doesn't care what people think of him. So, I can kind of pick up on that energy as well. And that's, like I'm saying, it just fires me up because this is the truth at the end of the day, guys. Like, we're not in this because we're making money or we're having that much fun going against the grain. But it is fun when you realize that all of our lives we've been seeking truth, and here we are. And to give glory to God, amen. Okay? So. Well done.
And
there's a new sort of controversy pertaining to TFE now, and it's that some footage where Witsit was doing a live, and he was asked in the comments to blow, to show your visible breath, and then he gets some snow, and then he walked backwards to a little bit far away area that looked like a sort of ditch that a vehicle had driven through, where snow was more piled up. And I guess he got his gloves, and then he picked up the snow, and then he kind of threw it up in the air a few times. But people say that a second camera caught him grabbing his vape and vaping. I didn't know he vaped. Does he? And that's what he used to, show the breathing of smoke. When here's what I have to, smoke, what I'm talking about, like condensation. Right. Here's what I have to say about that. I didn't see the video, but we'll go by that description. We have some people in the comments mentioning it. In Antarctica, treat the way the environment is not like Michigan, where I grew up, where it's cold and you can breathe out and you can see your breath. It's like a desert there in some weird way, where there's no moisture, or there's a scientific explanation, probably Nathan knows it by heart, about particles of moisture being not able to produce that visible, smoke that we would see people blowing out when it's cold. And so you're not really going to see that in Antarctica. So, Nathan, explain it better than I did, more scientifically.
Yeah, you're right. It's like a desert. When people breathe out, they're actually seeing the moisture in the air, but there's no moisture down there, so you couldn't see the breath. But to think that Austin would just pull a magic trick and hide a glove or something, I laughed out loud. I was like, that's so ridiculous. But like Mark was saying, I met 5,000 flat earthers, looked them in the eye. There are no shills talking about flat earth. The shills tell you live on a globe. Okay? That's what the shills do. So I agree with you there, Mark.
Quitsit vape. Can anybody in the in the chat?
And I don't know if he still does. When we were in the RV, he vaped.
By the way, do I think that there
He might have just been taking a vape break when he walked over. I mean, and then it's made into a conspiracy. Now, I'm not defending because I didn't see it, but I don't think he would do that because the entire time, none of the people there were breathing out visible breath. So he wouldn't fake it for one moment on a live stream when everything else that's being filmed would not be showing it. It would be dumb.
Officially, by the way, do I think there are possible infiltrators in flat earth? Sure, of course. The government's got money to burn. They're going to put people in any given group. They could go to a conference, just shut up, stay real quiet, and do our conference stuff, and no one would ever see them in a million years. Content creators, that's a whole nother game. You talking the talk and walking the walk. You can't do it. I have never seen anyone pretend to be a flat earther. I've never seen it. So to think that let's end this part with this. Until Jaron starts doing TikTok videos on how great his new Porsche runs, I'm not buying it. I'm just not. So if Lee's Beth
with his personalized plate. Globe on the back.
And until if Lee's Beth all of a sudden runs, she starts hanging out with the Hawk Tuah girl and running a crypto scam, I'm not buying it. Just not.
His plate says it's a ball.
It's a ball. Yeah, there you go. Globes for dangly things on his mirror. Yeah.
Right. Not just funny, right? Because my imagination wanders. I know how dark these people who run the world are, but there's other ways to compromise people other than financial means, right? All you need to do is show a video of something happening to someone you love, and it's over. I would do anything for my mom. You know what I mean? It's so there's just ways they can manipulate.
We all could be compromised, even if we say we couldn't when it comes to, I'm going to kill your family, etc.
But but flat Earth is a one-time deal because social media has a time and date stamp on everything. Again, you can't create a fake backstory. Everyone would know. It's you'd have no street credibility at all. So
TikTok, I heard people say, maybe they went to Arctic, filmed the 24-hour, and then they just faked that they were in Antarctica. But then we were like, well, McToon was talking to Nathan Oakley real time while Nathan Oakley was live. So is Nathan Oakley in on it now?
Yes, right. Nathan's not going to be in on any.
By the way,
what do you want to call it? BS.
Let me throw
at all ever
one or two more things in there, and then we're going to go to our break, and then we'll come back. We'll let Nathan just rip through his stuff. Which is the McToon rant bothered me. Because he was unhinged, unfreaking hinged. Granted,
did you hear that song that came out of it though?
He had to keep switching his phone back. If you watch the beginning of the video, because most people just see the video when he's outside walking around in circles, losing his mind. But if you watch when he's inside the tent, you can see Austin walk in the background, and he's talking to Nathan. He's like, "You lied, Nathan. You lied."
He was shaking.
He was so angry. He was so angry. And the rumor is that because he was, if I'm not mistaken, he was allowed on Jim Brewer's show recently. He's now become, and this actually may work out for us, the default globalist representative. You know what? If I was going to pick a guy,
well, he's going on Candace Owens' show, I think.
Exactly. If that rumor is true, if that happens. Hey, what's McToon's real name? What's his first name? Do we remember?
I think it's MC Toon, to be honest.
Okay, well, if he goes on Candace's show, boy, you better be on your best behavior because you're not going into a neutral environment. Candace is on our side. So
Mark, this has 113,000 views. I made the video of McToon stomping around Antarctica, but then I just went outside my house and stomped around my house doing the same thing he was doing. Pretend I'm on the phone. Has 115,000 views, bro.
Nice.
Globeheads Gone Wild, part 31. Yeah. I've got 33 videos now, Illuminati confirmed, of Globeheads just losing their minds. Yeah. So check out my TikToks. They're hilarious.
Yeah. So and McKeegan, an interesting guy as well. Well, again, a straight up photography channel that wasn't doing much. All of a sudden makes an anti-flat Earth video. It's like, what? My subscriber count? What? I'm verified. I have a sponsor? That's awesome. And what do you think why did not surprise me at all when he showed up at that Antarctica thing. It's like, of course he did. So, and
I wish I was a fly on the wall in this whole thing, because I want to hear like the side stories and what they talked about at dinner, and if Whitsitt and Jaron or Lisbeth were able to kind of plant seeds with these people to really get them to think. You know, it's just kind of strange to me how committed they are, because the Earth is either spinning or it's not, or it's curving or it's not. It's like, it's so simple when you break it down, but what is going on there? It's like, how are they just completely misrepresenting flat Earth and just flat out lying, and then seeing the headlines knowing that Jaron did not flip, and then here we are, they're just running with it, and they're like clapping. It's like they're literally lying.
Yeah. It reminds me of, let me throw this one more thing, then we'll go to break, which is, it reminds me of the Kyrie Irving 30 under 30 for Forbes magazine, which was, he went on the 30 under 30 because he was an influencer and was apologizing to the inner city science teachers because they were getting hammered because he had the street credibility and they didn't. And these science teachers were emailing Kyrie and saying, dude, you're killing us. You're freaking killing us with what we're doing here. You're not even a science teacher. Granted, you have millions of dollars and a shoe company and all the kids love you, but you're killing us. And so he was apologizing on stage for that. It's like, look, sorry, and the news ran with it. And it's like, Kyrie renounces flat Earth. It's like, no, he didn't. He didn't at all. He was saying he was sorry, which is why you never say you're sorry. He's saying sorry to the science teachers. Jaron was saying, sorry, I was wrong. Oh my God, that quote, wrong about the 24-hour sun. The news doesn't care about the rest of it. All they cared was, sorry, I was wrong. Cut, period. Print that. And right. That's all they needed. And that's what I feel bad. Again, Jaron, I love you, but you got to realize that this is the first time I've seen. Yeah, and Behind the Curve, people would call me. It's like that guy at the end of Behind the Curve with the laser thing, right? With the news stories now, his name was in full effect everywhere. Jaron Campanella, Jaron. They even spelled it right everywhere it went. It's like they know your name now. So, internet famous.
Well, Jaron, we still love you, dude.
Oh, enjoy it.
Okay. Hopefully you're getting some rest, and you're going to be able to explain this, and sorry that they're doing you dirty like this. I know that's just zero fun. It wasn't your intention. You were meant there to just express and be honest, but of course they twisted it. But hey, in the long run, this is what's going to be their downfall, you guys. That's how I feel.
Wooden arrows,
and also
man.
the channels out there who predicted prior to this occurring that Jaron is already a glober, or Jaron will become a glober.
Yeah.
Those people should either A, take down those videos, or B, apologize in a video and leave it up. If you don't do that, and now you just go ahead and say, we were right about Jaron, because of the articles that you've read, which are misrepresentations of what Jaron said, then you're not here for the truth. You're here for clicks.
Absolutely.
But it is it's just all crazy, because this comes with the territory of being a flat Earth conspiracy theorist, right? Everyone's going to be hyper skeptical, and that's what we're experiencing. And when the flat Earth movie comes out one day, it's going to be epic, because there is nothing but twists and turns and drama, and it's very
it's a soap opera.
Yeah. When Jaron releases a TikTok video of how do I start my Bugatti, maybe I'll think about it. Okay, hey, we're gonna go to break for a couple minutes. Do whatever. When we come back, Nathan.
Yeah, no more TFE. It's all gonna be Nathan T.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. I like it. Hey, what happens when I hit this button?
Introducing the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock App Meetup Maker. Never miss another meetup again. You can look up meetups in several different ways. Sort by date. You can search by location or within a 500-mile radius. To create and list your own meetup, enter the date. Give the meetup a name, a location name, add a photo, enter your contact information, create a group chat name, and then fill out the description with all of the details. Select your background color and hit the Save button to add your meetup to the list. Once the meetup is saved, it will ask you to create a group chat for all of the meetups so people can join the group and start a local chat community. Select Public Group, add your welcome message, and your meetup is now available for all to see. To make sure you don't miss another meetup in your area, you can select your desired radius and whether you want push notifications or email or both. Whenever a new meetup is added in your selected radius, you get notified. The Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock Meetup Maker, bringing people together all around the plane.
Join me, Karen B, every Moon Day at 9:30 a.m. for Coffee Talk on YouTube, Rumble, and Rockfin. You never know what you'll learn about in the coffee shop. Open topic and open phones, y'all. And also for meetups, local meetups. If you want to have your meetup listed on flatearthfestivals.com for free, please email flatearthfestivals@protonmail.com.
Welcome back to Strange World, part 2 of 2. It is you, me, the always perfect Patricia Steere in her nice hat, the always delightful DJ Curious in his cool glasses, and special guest Nathan Thompson. And by the way, sorry guys that you're not seeing me drum or anything. I've got an audio issue where when I play the video and I kick back over to the screen, I lose my audio from the video. So like at the end of the show, for example, we're just going to go straight to the slides. And you won't see us dancing around or doing our normal stuff. Sorry, guys. Next week, though, we'll have it fixed for sure. So, Nathan, you have notes. You have things you want to talk about. The chat room saying, let Nathan talk. And it's like, why? I don't like him that much as a person. But yet, we have to do it. So, we're going to do it. What's on your mind? What do you what do you want to get? What do you want to talk?
People are asking, Nathan, where they can see you, where they can find you. Do you have a channel? Those kinds of questions.
Yeah. Yes, I for sure want to talk about that. Guys, if you support my activism, patreon.com/Nathan Thompson, $3, 5 months, $5 a month means the world to me. But shout out the hosts on TikTok. You'll find me on these debates all the time. They built these massive platforms where I can come in and share the information and the observations I have, all the slides I've gathered. The Dip, he's doing a live almost 24/7 on TikTok. Shape Commander, Rakia, Fabulous, Caleb.fe. He's got almost 200,000 followers on TikTok. Flat Smack Chris, him and I just did a debate on Modern Day Debate. You can find me on Modern Day Debate. I've been over there almost every other week for the past couple months, just eliminating PhDs. It's hilarious. And shout out the in real life hosts that I've had, like Kevin in Albuquerque, David Ramiro in South Carolina, David Gordon in Denver, Trevor Michler in South Carolina. He's actually the one who bailed me out of jail when I got arrested for telling that playground that the earth was flat. So shout out Trevor. He's awesome. Marilyn, I stayed at her house during COVID, and she just let me stay there rent free for over a year. She was amazing. And the Daryl Davis with the Flat Earth Farms in Northern California. I know a lot of the community know Daryl. He's awesome. I stayed with Bob and Cammie for a month. Rest in peace, Bob. I love you, Cammie. You guys are awesome. I stayed with Wes Blaze on the floor of his hotel room while he had another buddy, Tony, in the hotel room. It's just like my journey has been wild. So all the hosts, I really appreciate you guys. Everyone who asked me to speak at one of your conferences, like Chris, Take on the World, Robbie Davidson, the international conferences. I appreciate you guys too. And that covers page 1. My story, guys, let me tell you, I was doing brain training and my coach told me the earth is flat. I spent 3 days not sleeping and then I started testing the earth. Cold moonlight, star trails. I did the marine horizon on the Pacific Ocean. The star trails don't intersect the marine horizon. They fade away off in the distance above the marine horizon. I've recorded similar things with the sun and the moon. Then I started doing meetups. I've done over 300 Flat Earth meetups. The Flat Earthers are the coolest. If you don't have a meetup in your area, message mark the details. Every time I message mark the details for a meetup, he puts a video together. So hat is off to you, Mark. You've helped me meet so many people in real life, and those people go to meetups and meet people in their area, and then they connect and stay friends, and it's just awesome what you do behind the scenes. Thank you. Hats off to you. We used to run the official Flat Earth and Globe discussion. That was censored. Instagram was censored. My YouTube was deleted. Then they deleted my Skype, my Venmo, my Yahoo account, and my Tinder. So I couldn't even go on dates and tell girls the earth is flat. But censorship's unreal. That's why I always ask people to share the information with your circle and the people around you so they can learn it and share it with their circle. That's how grassroots movements get it done. Exponential growth. 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, 256, 512, 1024. It gets really big, really fast. And I've done the debates, but also in-person activism, land surveyors, PhD astrophysicists, NASA employees. If you want to see those videos, those are on my TikTok. The TikTok is at The Real Nathan Thompson. And my backup is at Enoch of TikTok, like the book of Enoch, Enoch of TikTok. And with the activism, if you guys want to do the activism, let me recommend sharing is caring. Don't try and convince people. We got to say less to more people. Love is patient. It's kind. It's not jealous, boastful, proud, or rude. Doesn't demand its own way. It doesn't get irritated. So just try and embody that when you're sharing with people. And dogs don't bark at parked cars. So if you're moving, you're going to be attacked. Patty knows that. Mark knows that. DJ knows that. It's like this world, all good will be attacked. They took out Jesus, and what did he really do wrong? It's like if you're doing something with your life that's in a positive motion, dogs are going to bark at a moving car. So we have magical beings, right? They wake people up to the creator. They wake people up to the matrix and the politicians and how they're being lied to. But it also, people start learning more about the world around them. And so if you have these magical beans in your hand, you're not going to throw them at brick walls over and over and over again. You're going to go to where there is fertile ground. And so I'm constantly having to tell people on TikTok, yo, dust your feet with the anti-flat earthers. They're going to learn later. It's not your job to convince them. We got to move on to people at this moment that want to learn and focus on those people, spend more time with those people, water that fertile ground. And I guess I can end there before I get into all the science I want to talk about.
Hey, real quick before you start rambling. Chat was asking, do you
rambling?
No, it's fine. No, I call it rambling. Why not? Let him ramble. I love a good flat Earth ramble anyway. Can you say something in chat so people know can link right back to your channel because they're lazy?
I can't. It's not my account. So
Oh no worries. No worries. Patricia, can you put a link into chat of where to one of Nathan's channels?
Be the Change word is my on YouTube, but I don't post all my videos on YouTube. I post all my videos.
That's what I thought.
Facebook and mostly Instagram, but TikTok for sure. But Be the Change one word. There's 2,200 subscribers on that account. If you want to find that account, post that in the chat. That's got all my Clown World Tour videos with Austin Whitsitt. That's got the Georgia Guidestones. When I caught the time lapse of Polaris through the hole in the Georgia Guidestones. Got NASA people freaking out at the rocket launches, spitting in my face and giving me the middle finger. Lots of good stuff on there. My Earth 101 speech is on there.
You were one of the reasons the Georgia Guidestones were destroyed. No, seriously, take some credit there, man. I mean, they're not there anymore. Just so you guys know,
Who knows what happened with that whole thing.
You can't go visit, and you were one of the people that said, hey, there's something interesting about those stones, and then next thing you know.
If I had to pin it on one thing, it would probably be the internet. right? Because they didn't expect when they built it for everyone to just post these rocks all over the world that talk about taking over the world in 8 different languages. They were like, whoa, 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 we might just have to sweep this one under the rug. Not to mention, it's a clock and a calendar. Right. So we can't have that going on simultaneously while talking about taking over the world. So they just got rid of it. That's my opinion. But thanks for the kind words, Mark. It was a good video. I'm really happy we got the video of the time lapse. So it was crazy how that happened too. Austin can confirm this. It was all cloudy. We showed up. The clouds disappeared. I started the time lapse, and 2 hours into the time lapse, clouds start rolling in. I actually cut the time lapse like 20 minutes early. And then we went the next day to do drone footage. It was raining all day. We went to put up the drone. It stops raining, and we went and got all the footage we want. Land the drone, starts raining again. And I was like, Austin and I looking at each other like, how is that even real? So divine intervention maybe in a way, but yeah, tons of science I want to talk about if you guys are.
Okay, let's do it. Hit us with some science.
Always hearing Globers talk about models. Globers don't have any models. They have pseudoscience, they have video games, they have falsehoods and paralogisms, and they have like stories that they heard about people they've never met. So they don't have any models, but we have all the models, okay? It's like a Victoria's Secret catalog on flat Earth. We can model everything. 24-hour sun, star trails, ocean currents with magnetohydrodynamics. Quantum locking can model a frictionless orbit. Specular reflections can be modeled on a body of water by just looking at the incident angle, meet the reflected angle. So we have all the models, right? And Globers don't have any models. If they say the word model, remind them that a model is a representation of a particular phenomenon in nature. So if they can't show water sticking to a ball, gas pressure next to a container, a gravitational orbit, well then they just have a bunch of like vain religious superstitions of how the world's working that don't comport to reality.
Well, they say that the globe is their model, but if their globe is their model, then you should be able to model people upside down, throwing a bunch of water at it with it spinning and all the water sticking. That would be a working model with many other aspects. But let's see the people upside down hanging there by their own accord. And, well, of course, they'd be tiny little plastic people, but, and then throw a bunch of water on it and the water sticks when it spins. Until then, the globe is not a model. It's a toy.
Right. Well, they look at it like they don't need a model necessarily, like if you're just the average person, because they're like, we can see the footage of the Earth in space. But even as someone who loves space like myself and paying attention to it, I thought I knew so much. I thought it was so cool, whatever. The point is, when I realized that I wasn't taking into consideration the speeds that everything is apparently supposedly moving. For example, when you see a video footage of the Earth in space, you don't see it moving through space at 66,000 miles an hour. And just that alone should be a red flag for anyone who's putting all their weight and stock into the space thing, because like, look, it's obviously working. They're showing us it working. No, the point is they don't have a model that works. And the flat side, now with Joseph Hanby too, who's channeling the creator and using the scripture, the word of God, to come up with something that actually works in a physical realm is so exciting. So thank you, Nathan, for kind of breaking it down. And that was one of the things that you said really well in your Flat Earth International Conference speech that I rewatched today. And I have questions once you're done, but I'll let you kind of take it up from there.
Another thing they'll say is like our globe makes predictions. That's a reification fallacy. Reification fallacy is attributing physical attributes to abstract concepts. So if you look at a ball tilted in a classroom with a stick going through it, that thing's not predicting anything. Actually, one of the things it is predicting is you'll have a physical geometric horizon. And the formula for that physical geometric horizon is 1.22 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. So when we go out and make observations from a 1-foot observer height, the horizon should be at 1.2 miles. And we've got observations where you can see a light that's on 1 foot off the lake at 9 miles. We've got the Black Swan where the horizon is behind platform habitat in Long Beach at 9.5 miles. And in order to get a physical geometric horizon at anywhere near 10 miles, not only are you invoking imaginary amounts of refraction, not only are you invoking refraction, refraction requires 2 mediums, and you're just looking through 1 medium of air, so it's not even refraction, it's distortion. I want to talk about that too. But what they do is they say, oh, if it's horizon that is physical geometric Earth curve, for it to be at 10 miles, the radius of the Earth needs to be 240,000 miles. That is the distance to the moon. That's ridiculous. They tell us it's 4,000 miles. And the physical geometric horizon looks like it's at 240,000 miles. Well, that's because the horizon isn't physical. It's not geometric. It changes hour to hour, day to day, based on atmospheric conditions, because it's an illusion. It's optical. It's imaginary. It's where the flat land appears to meet the sky. There's nothing physical about that. It's like chasing a rainbow. The rainbow just moves with you. So your horizon will also move with you. It's not physical. It's not geometric. Globers haven't figured that out yet. They need to learn what the horizon is.
Yeah, awesome.
Well, tell us what the horizon is for those who are like, what are you talking about? Like me.
Yeah, like I was saying, it's optical. It's where the ground, flat land, appears to meet the sky. Now, because we are so close to the ground, it happens at a much faster rate for the ground ramping up than it does for the sky ramping down. The only way to get it to converge perfectly in the center is if you lifted an elevation so that you were halfway between your celestial dome and the ground. Just like when you're standing in a hallway, it appears to converge at eye level, but imagine you're like an ant on the ground. You're going to see maybe 6 inches of carpet in front of you, and then there's your physical horizon, if you're a globehead, but then you're going to see like, I don't know, 100 feet of lights above your head because you're an ant looking up at this, and you have way more of a vantage point looking up. So it's the same thing we see on the Earth. They actually reverse engineered all the celestial observations so that every time Polaris drops 1 degree, that's the Earth curving and you're falling backwards relative to how you're viewing the angle of the star. So, but everything else in reality, as it moves away from you, has convergence. It appears to go towards the horizon. It goes towards a vanishing point, but not everything in the sky. When you move away from something in the sky or something in the sky moves away from you, it's not perspective. It's not convergence. It's Earth curve. So they hijack perspective and Earth curve for all their celestial observations. And that's why they have a radius value and a reverse engineered model that works with a lot of things. They have like a lot of celestial observations that match up to what we see on the Earth with like sundials and the tilt of the Earth and how much Polaris drops per degree. But that's all reverse engineered. So it should work. What you need to focus on is the horizon. We see too far. Properties of water. They've never measured the Earth move. Space is a cartoon. Globe's a religion. I want to talk about the globe's a religion, but any thoughts on that before I move on? Awesome.
Nope. Keep going.
Yeah, you're on a roll.
Yeah, the religion of globe, heliocentricity is their God would be gravity. It holds all things together. The Creator actually says in Scripture, He holds all things together, so they had to replace that. Then they have the Son of God, which would be the sun in the sky that all the planets and the moons orbit around in reverent obedience due to gravity, which they can't scientifically model. Then you've got the prophets, like Einstein, who predicted the bending and warping of light, which is massless, in space, which violates natural law, 15 years before it happened. The dude literally passed away, and he's like, I think on this eclipse, the massless light is going to bend due to the gravity of the sun. And so they made him a prophet of the heliocentric religion, and they do that with the matrix or the math that they trick people with. That's the matrix. The math is how they trick people. It's how they fool people. All they have is just equations and letters on a chalkboard, and none of it's real. And they push that in the churches, like NASA and the institutions that people are indoctrinated in from a young age, and also through the mega prophets like Neil deGrasse Tyson, who will tell you that the Earth is flat from 120,000 feet, but also simultaneously say the Earth is moving under a football, which everyone knows if you throw a football up in the air, the Earth doesn't rotate under it. So what's going on with these mega preachers? And they have space, which would be their heaven, which is literally nothing. Space is the absence of matter. So globers believe in nothing. I find that so riveting. They believe in nothing. So it is a religion based on the belief of nothing and instead of heaven. And so the light at the end of that tunnel for globe religion is just a boot on your face. Like with your tongue out, you're like, But on flat Earth, we've got a heaven, we've got a dome. We're not going to get attacked by aliens. We're not getting attacked by asteroids. We're just being lied to by these parasitic elite. We need to pull the rug out from under them. And I think that's what flat Earth does.
Amen.
Well said.
Cheers.
Well,
Three body.
Well said.
Have you guys heard of the 3-body problem?
Yeah.
Of course, but I want to hear it from you.
So it's as a conundrum in mathematics and astronomy where you can't have 3 bodies of mass orbiting a center of mass, but it's really a video game. And the video game is based on a birthday cake of assumptions, layers of assumptions. The Earth's a ball, that's an assumption. They can't find curvature. They're saying the Earth is in motion. They can't measure the motion. They can't scientifically model a gravitational orbit. They're saying the Earth is in space. You can't demonstrate gas pressure next to a vacuum without a physical container. So once you take all these assumptions and you plug it into your video game, it doesn't even work. The system becomes chaotic. There's no closed form solution for the three-body problem. So you have not a three-body problem. You have 280 planets and moons in our solar system alone, and they can't model three. When you put the three in motion around a center of mass, two of the bodies will collide, causing 1,000 three-body problem, because now you have all these new pieces orbiting the center of mass. Then you have two of the bodies will eject one of the bodies, so now you just have a two-body problem, because it slingshotted one of the mass out of the orbit of the center of mass. Then you could have two of the bodies rip the third mass apart. Now you just have a more chaotic four-body problem. So this video game is so funny. They can't predict anything. We can predict everything. They're actually post-dictions based on what we've seen for hundreds and thousands of years. The Babylonians came up with something called a Soros cycle. NASA uses it to this day. They'll admit that on their website. Eclipses are based on the Soros cycle. Also, you could look up Fred Espenak. He did 12-year ephemerides for the sun, the moon, and the planets on a geocentric Earth. So I don't know why our tax money is going towards Fred to work out ephemerides on a geocentric Earth, but they're telling us we're on a ball in space that orbits the sun. Hey, how did both of those match simultaneously? See what I'm saying? Why are they even doing that math? I don't get it. So.
Yep. So, and by the way, yeah, the average person does not. I'm glad you brought up the three-body problem, because again, the general public isn't very smart, but that one really throws them, and they don't know what to do with it. But you're absolutely right. It is, in fact, was it a documentary that came out recently, or a movie that had the same title to it? Which is
TV show.
TV show.
It was a TV show. The three-body problem is unsolvable.
And people probably thought it was about bodies, so they're like, "Ooh, naked bodies."
There you go. Oh, it's a threesome.
No, you know what's funny is I watched that with a friend of mine who's all ever since I started talking about flat Earth with him, he immediately jumped on the Dave McKeegan bandwagon and starts throwing all these flat Earth debunking things at me, and I'm just like, oh, this is hilarious. And we watched that stupid show, and he was like, even by the end of it, they don't solve this three-body problem, but it's just reaffirming space that it must be working. See, people just take it at face value that it's working, and it's not.
To have a friend, and the friend knows what you are into now, to have that person suddenly go onto a flat Earth debunking channel and become a big fan is kind of a form of spitting in your face.
It's been gnarly, but hey, it's teaching me patience. In fact, getting back to what Nathan was saying,
true.
I really like that Nathan says that love is patient, it is kind, it doesn't insist on its own ways. And I honestly try to repeat that to myself, and it's just such a nice reminder, because ultimately what we're doing by practicing that is implementing what the Creator says He is. He says He is love, which is all those things. And so teaching us how to be like the Creator is part of the process of being a human right now. And being a flat earther, knowing that we're up against the most ridicule, mockery, spit in your face kind of mentality, where it's actually accepted by our culture because it must be so stupid. It's teaching me, it's beyond, it's almost, it's so humbling. And I'm not saying that I'm necessarily humble, but it's teaching me that I just want to, because I believe it is the truth, to just be patient for those friends and family members that aren't ready to go there. But having people like you guys and Nathan explaining the actual science just empowers us out there to go, you know what, we're not crazy. We're going to keep pushing forward, because yes, things are not adding up. And when you start to listen to the people like Nathan and Whitson and you guys who make things make sense, it's so refreshing. It's literally why I wanted him to come on the show so bad.
Blessed are you when men curse you and revile you and speak all kind of evil against you falsely for my name's sake, for great is your reward in heaven. And all things work towards good for those that love the Creator and are called according to His purpose. And I remember seeing all these videos blow up back in the day, like Mark's videos and Eric Dubé's videos. And I'm like, man, if these guys were believers, they would just be stacking treasure in heaven. I think they missed that part of this journey, but it's so nice to hear as a Christian now. And dude, you get hate and stuff, and you do, but it's for a noble cause. And so hats off to you. I didn't choose this path. I feel like the Creator just chose it for me. I almost feel compelled to share Flat Earth with people. If I didn't tell them, I wouldn't actually be a genuine person that cared about other people, because knowing what I know about how everyone's being lied to and how everyone's deceived, it's like, how could you not scream it from the rooftops and write it on your car and wear it on your t-shirt and hand out flyers all the time? Like, that just seems natural to me. I don't know.
Well,
I think everyone who's involved in this is compelled in one way or another to do whatever it is that their personality makes the way for them to do. There's a gentleman in the live chat who just said 5 years in and my wife will not talk about it. That must hurt.
Yeah.
That must hurt.
Hard. It's
But
so
he's not
hard.
alone. You're not alone.
Nope.
Prayer
Nope.
and fasting, right? If you haven't eaten for a week and your wife's like, what's wrong with you, honey? You're losing weight. It's like, yeah, I've been praying and fasting because you won't test the earth with me. There's a lake 5 miles away. You know, if she actually cares about you, she's like, yo, this is serious. Obviously something's going on here. But I would recommend that. Also, you get flyers, share it with her sister, share it with her cousin, share it with her coworkers, church members. And then once they become flat earthers, they will bug her.
No, he's right. It's a battle of attrition, which is I mention to the trolls all the time. I go, I don't have to win your hearts, anonymous coward troll. I'll just go around you and get your friends and family and coworkers, and eventually you'll be flanked on all sides. Then what are you gonna do?
Yeah, that's
You're
like
still...
how the velociraptors work, apparently. You could be staring one in the face and then two didn't even know we're there, right? But
Ooh, flat Earth Raptors. We have to get that. That's
If
awesome.
we have a sports team, we can be the Raptors. Or there already is a sports team called the Raptors, so forget that.
The Toronto Raptors. They're a basketball team.
That was from Jurassic Park. Remember, he's staring at the one in the face, and then like you didn't even know.
Yeah.
But I think like what you're saying, Nathan, is just create a 10-body problem. Go tell 10 other bodies around that one body what's up, and watch it trickle in. And you know, we're all kind of doing that, but it is really hard. And for the people out there that feel alone or up against that kind of, it is a lesson in patience, and it's really hard for us to understand. But again, it's so reassuring to know that our Creator has that attribute. And that's why he's so patient with us and so forgiving with us. And so, you know, nothing's going to be in vain, in my opinion. And it's really, as well as my journey, just coming to this information helped strengthen my faith. And it sounds like maybe it did the same thing for you, Nathan. Was this a divine intervention in any way in your life, or were you already a believer? How did that change you?
Yeah, I was already a believer, but it took a day and a half or so for me to realize like biblical cosmology was flat Earth and with a dome. And once I knew, like, that's why they would attack it, that's why they would lie to everyone, because I had already been debating evolution for like 10 years, and I was like, now I don't have to talk about bird beaks anymore. I could just tell them it's flat. Like, I was so excited, because the evolution debate is so convoluted compared to the flat Earth debate. The flat Earth debate is objective. You can confirm it real time. You don't have to rely on fossil evidence over millions of years. And it's just, I love flat Earth because you don't get lost in the weeds as easy. But that's what I want to talk about, is a refraction versus distortion, because Globers are invoking refraction. It's like one of their claim to fames. With every observation, they're just saying, oh, well, the light bends perfectly around my globe religion to make it look like it's flat. Well, what you're doing essentially there is you're making your model unfalsifiable. Also, like Mark, when we were on National Geographic, we did the observation in the morning when it was clear. Right. We could see clear across the lake, and then they hijacked the distortion, not refraction, distortion. At high noon, when it was all evaporating and there's water vapor in the air, and we couldn't see distant objects. And they said, oh, that's curvature. The bottom of the flag's missing. Well, the horizon was behind the boat. It didn't even go over the horizon yet, and they're claiming curvature. But yeah, what they've done is they've hijacked distortion and tried to make it work in their favor. So they say every time they see too far, oh, it's distorted, it's refraction. But when we see the physical geometric curvature we're supposed to see, that's a perfectly clear day. Well, that's the opposite from everything we're seeing in reality. And I pulled up like the difference between refraction and distortion, and they give an example for refraction. It's a straw appearing to be bent when placed in water. Now, we're not looking through water, a medium of water, when we look over a large body of water through air. So a better example would be distortion. It says the example for distortion is like looking through a curved piece of glass and seeing a distorted image. And this is called atmospheric lensing. Light tends to bend towards denser mediums. Sometimes you can have temperature inversions where the light bends upward, but nothing's bending around the curvature of the Earth at a constant refracted angle so that you can see it from 60, 160, 270 miles away. That's ridiculous. There's no multiple mediums of air over long distances. The only different densities in air you have is when you look vertically through the ionosphere and the troposphere and the stratosphere. Like, that's where the different mediums of air is. Even we have NASA or Army documents that talk about the electromagnetic propagation assumes a consistent permittivity over large bodies. So there's not different densities. And also, I always have to tell Globers this because they think light travels forever. The four main things that cause the attenuation of light, which would be the absorption or refraction of light, are water vapor, carbon dioxide, oxygen, and ozone. And all those different components will absorb different spectrums of the electromagnetic energy, but those are the four main things that cause attenuation of light, which is why you can see so far in Antarctica. The air is very dry. There's not a lot of water vapor. That attenuates the light. Like, you can see it with the clouds. But also there's not a lot of carbon dioxide because there's not a lot of people down there. And it's different down there. I've heard stories you can see hundreds of miles when normally sailors were like, when we see a mountain in the distance, it's maximum 100 miles. Well, then they would sail to it for 3 days and they're like, still looks like it's 100 miles away. What's going on down here? They're like, eyes were playing tricks on them. So I'm interested to see from Jaron and Austin, because Austin did say on the Levelheads, they host lives on X or Twitter Spaces, and Austin goes on there, Dave Wise goes on there, I go on there Friday nights, check out the Friday night debates. But he was saying they did do infrared observations from the airplane, so I'm interested in seeing those. That hasn't been released yet, but that's my refraction/distortion argument. People got to get down to some.
Excellent.
It's just so motivating to hear all these things that that I'm still learning, but I just love it because it's the truth coming out. We're trying to peek into the mind of the creator and figure out how he made this place. That's what this is coming down to. And yeah, it's okay that we don't have all the answers, but there is so much more information on this side versus the globe side. And I think that gives a lot of people peace of mind once they get to this point.
I don't know if people have a way to ask questions, but if they want to, I'm still going to cover science, curvature, the gradient, eclipses, seasons, Polaris, and maybe a little bit of the thumb drive if you guys let me. But if you guys have any questions outside
you got 30 minutes. Roll.
All right, sweet. So anytime a Glober says S word in the debate, science, the shape of the Earth is not a science question. It has nothing to do with cause and effect relationships, independent and dependent variables or controls. You hand a child a ball and you say, is this a ball? Well, they either observe curvature or they're not observing curvature. You don't need to form a hypothesis and conduct rigorous scientific experimentation that you have peer-reviewed by people to see if you're holding a ball. It just curves or it doesn't curve. But anytime they say the word science, I stop them and I say, can I test your science acumen? Because first of all, they usually don't know what the word acumen means, but they're like, okay, yeah, test my science acumen. And so I'll ask them, what are the three constituent parts of a scientific experiment? And I had PhD Blitz with hundreds of thousands of followers on TikTok he says, I'm a science communicator. And he didn't know the three constituent parts of a scientific experiment. And he says he gets grants from the government to communicate science online. That's embarrassing.
So what are they, though?
You need independent, dependent variable and controls. And so Globers don't know that. But if they do know that, which I'm telling you, it's like 1% out of 100, then you just say, what's an experiment that supports your globe religion? Because first of all, they don't have any naturally occurring phenomenons that they're manipulating with an independent variable to prove they live on a spinning tilted globe. It's all pseudoscience. It's all stories. They don't even have a working Cavendish where you can walk down the street, around the corner, and look through holes in a shed with the telescope. Because that's what he did. All these people recreating Cavendish have air conditioning vents in the ceiling, and they got a professor walking around the contraption. They got 300 students in the auditorium, and they think that's not Cavendish. That's not what he did. He put it in a shed, isolated the entire thing, walked down the street with his telescope, and looked through holes. Show me that. Why isn't that at the Louvre? Why isn't that in New York? Why isn't that in San Francisco? Where's Cavendish? This is their whole religion, literally hanging by a string. Cavendish was hanging by a string. So, and then you have Foucault hanging by a string. And what did they do to hypnotize kids on the cartoons? They literally had a pendulum.
Right.
And they said, very sleepy. So
and they have those in some museums, very large ones. And I've heard that the people who run the place, the docents or other people, have to start them every once in a while by giving them a push.
Yeah, they have to have motors because due to friction and resistance, within the mechanism. But what I've been learning, I got a 700-page book here. It's fictional. This is so funny, right? On the front page, they've got the flat Earth map right here. but this is a fictional book about how there's a source of atomic energy or greater than atomic energy in the north, and all these secret societies are figuring out how to harness it, and if they can, they think they could take over the world. So it's like the Truman Show of any book I've ever read, and the first 2 pages talk about the Foucault pendulum and how there was a magnetic device centered in the floor beneath that issued a command to a cylinder hidden in the heart of a sphere. So they had a magnet underneath the ground, they had a magnet in the cylinder, and then they had an 86-foot-long cord going to the top of the Pantheon. That was the first one they demonstrated for the public. But that cord harnessed electrostatic potential in the air. Then they have all these magnets in the ground, and they would induce perpetual motion, which Globers don't believe in, to make geometric shapes in the sand. They would put a tip on the end of the ball, and it would create grooves in the sand that would form pendaculums, mystic roses, all the geometric shapes like this, what we see with the planets over our flat Earth, like we see with magnetic field lines. They would actually draw that stuff in the sand, is what this book's telling me. And yeah, so nothing to do with Earth rotation at all whatsoever. And then Globers will say conservation of momentum with the hot air balloons and the drones and the helicopters, but you built that Foucault pendulum on a moving globe. So when you start it, it's already in motion. Like there's no way to differentiate or make it independent of the moving reference frame. So, and then they have to put motors in the darn thing. So obviously the motors are keeping it going, not the Earth moving under the pendulum. Google, do wrecking balls precess? No, the Earth doesn't move under a wrecking ball.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah. In our chat, Fast Eddie Flathead says, I saw the pendulum at the Exploratorium. It wasn't on and wasn't moving.
That's funny.
Funny.
That's hilarious. And then also, right, if the Earth rotates under the Foucault pendulum, what about the deviation under the Cavendish? Because Cavendish is also hanging from a string, right? So wouldn't the Earth's movement affect Cavendish just like it affects the Foucault pendulum? It's like, not to mention you've got air resistance and electrostatic potential that could be building up inside of an oscillating torsion bar. Like as you move something magnetic through an electromagnetic field, it becomes a conductor and starts generating charge. So it could just be discharge. Electrostatics can attract and repel. I mean, the Globers are all over the place with their science.
So what are you noticing then in these debates? Are they just flabbergasted did they have any good comebacks? I mean, what is their best argument that they're like, I mean, I've seen it. I'm just curious.
24-hour sun. They're like earthquakes.
Uh-huh.
Bro, they're just waving white flags in the air. That's why I love debating flat Earth. It's like the easiest thing I've ever done. Globers make me look so smart. I really appreciate them. They also get promoted in the algorithms better than we do. So Globers, anti-flat earthers, all my pet Globers, I really appreciate you guys blasting flat Earth out there because you guys help get the message pushing forward, maybe even better than us. I remember one year, flat Earth activist of the world was Barack Obama, like standing on stage and telling, we don't have time for the Flat Earth Society. Do you think people became flat earthers because Barack Obama opened his big mouth about flat Earth? Like
crazy. And then we had Trump recently mention flat Earth in some weird rambling speech. I don't even know what he meant by what he was talking about. Does anybody know?
Netanyahu? Same thing.
Well, Trump was mentioning it in terms of firing weapons across a very flat land, and he mentioned it more than once. You know, he was putting an emphasis on it.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't say flat Earth, but I mean, it was just very...
Why would you...
Why? Who cares? I mean,
Well,
they do it on purpose, that's for sure.
Yeah, but it sounds like, Nathan, you are doing a great job at debunking the flat Earth debunkers. You know what I mean? It's like I could just see you creating content and putting it on YouTube that's kind of taking what they're saying is a death blow to flat Earth and then just railing them right back and posting it right back. Like I would love, I mean, I know you're doing amazing things anyway, but I could just see that just breaking it down. Like that's what you're doing in these debates.
I'd also like to put together like I don't know if I should say this, someone's going to steal my idea, but if anyone wants to work on it with me, let me know. I don't care. Take the idea. I'm busy. An encyclopedia, a dictionary, right, where we can have on our coffee table and you can know what refraction is and distortion, and you can know what the horizon is, and you can know Polaris, and all these terms and vocabulary that we use in the flat Earth conversation that it's not like necessarily common language for most people because they don't know what we're talking about. It's like flat Earth is almost a second language to most people, but I think that would be cool.
Yeah, I mean, have you? I imagine that you've been following Joseph Hanvey and his, journey through this TFE stuff, and then have you heard much about Stephen Alonso, who apparently has been working on an animated version of the model, and have you studied that yourself? And he has his own university, apparently Flat Earth University, that people can go and learn kind of like what you're saying.
I love what Stephen Alonso's doing. He won all 3 of the challenges for the final experiment, so the Globers can't even win their own challenges. Flat Earthers got to go win the challenges for them. I think that's so funny. Shout him out. And I'm also talking with Joe Hanvey. Shout out Joe. He's doing amazing work. But also I told Joe, if you need help editing your videos so that while you're talking, stuff can be popping up simultaneously, showing pictures of star trails and how gas pressure needs containment and water's natural level. Like if you go watch the video I did last night on my TikTok, I took Joe Hanvey's 7-minute presentation and I just lined it up like 40 or 50 memes flashing while he's talking. And I think it's just so much more powerful. So Joe, I've reached out to Joe and said, Joe, if you need help editing your videos, I'll edit them for him. Like I'm not going to charge him or anything. And like this is what the community helps me do, buying flyers and thumb drives and like supporting me on Patreon is like, I'll edit all Joe's videos and make them great because I'm a big fan of Joe. And anyone in the community doing big things, like I'm always willing to work with him.
And that's awesome because he's actually in our chat, so he might have just heard that, which is great because this is what I was hoping to see is unity. Like Mark said, it's time more than ever to unite because that's what's going to show the globe side like, hey, this is not backing down, and letting go of the past, healing the past, acknowledging things that didn't, you wish you could have done better. Those kinds of things with just all of us can work and be better, and therefore it will push the narrative forward to make our lives easier in the long run. I mean, this is the truth. We want to just live in our world and exist in it, in the truth. And so, that opens up another can of worms of going there. But I do like something that you said. It's like if God loves us, why is he so far away? But on the flat model, he's right above. And I try to tell that to my friends who are Christian or like my family members of why this is so important. And it's like, if that's true, isn't that the most beautiful thing we could think of, that the person who knows us inside and out and created this place for us is right there above us to know like what we're going through and is going to fix it?
It's like anytime I see people fighting on the flat earth, it's never like someone slapped someone's sister. It's always like, oh, you don't agree with me on this one thing. You know what I mean? It's like, guys, we need to get over that. Like, we're way more benefit. We just got to work together. The division is childish and immature at best, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, dude, you are doing amazing stuff out there. I've been following you on TikTok. I like that Dave Weiss shouted you out and had you on his stream not that long ago, and watching you pop up on the Modern Day Debates. I mean, it's just been nice to see how much effort that you're putting into this, and I feel you on the sense of it's just the truth, and being on fire for the truth is what we're supposed to be doing here as humans, and planting those seeds and throwing them all over. That's like what I believe God wants us to be doing. And like you said in your speech, you said he sees their plans on the globe side and they laugh, and he laughs. He's not laughing at them. He's laughing at the plans. It's like, look, if he's looking down on this amazing terrarium that he created and it works like a perfect timepiece and seeing so much division over lies, he knows that the lies will one day be enough and he will be fed up. But it's the patience that he has to get more people to wake up. And that's why Flat Earth is such a great puzzle piece for what it takes to strengthen one's faith and therefore have that reassurance that this is not a random experience. This is very well thought out, and it's going to be nothing but love in the end, in my opinion. So
you have such a positive viewpoint. Sometimes I need some of that.
Well, hey, I'm glad you're here to listen. I don't have all the answers. I'm not perfect. It's not about me. It's just like, this is what brought me to this show, and now I get to sit here, and I've been watching you guys, and Nathan, he pops up all the time on Robbie Davidson's 24/7 Celebrate Truth channel, because that Flat Earth International Conference, a lot of those speeches just repeat every couple weeks, and I'd be like, there's this guy, I don't know who he is, but I saw him in Behind the Curve, and he's like speaking right to me with all this biblical stuff, but he's coming off so cool. Like, this is what it could mean to be a Christian. You don't have to be in a box. It can be so much more, and no one's perfect, but we've all can just keep pushing forward like, hey, this is truth. Let's think about that. Let's unite with that. What's that?
I mean, if they taught us truth in school, I don't think I would have ever wanted to leave science class. I would have always wanted to learn history. I would have been interested in music and art and all this stuff. But since it was all lies, everyone couldn't wait to get out of that cage and go to work and make some peanuts, because that's what we were told was important. And people spend 20, 30, 40 years of their life just in that matrix with their tunnel vision on. Like, I got to go get these peanuts because that's what I was trained to do for the last 20 years. And like, I don't know, just I've been researching, and I feel like a kid in a candy store. Like Joe Hamby says, you know, it's like be like children, and there's so much to learn. It's so funny. I get this quote from Neil deGrasse Tyson, but he says, as the area of our knowledge expands, so does the perimeter of our ignorance. And it's like the more you learn about everything, the more you realize that that thing you learned has 10 more things you could learn about it. And then those things have 10 more things you can learn about it. It's just like unlimited how much there is for us to learn. And that's why I don't think we need to spend a lot of time on the Flat Earth ISS. That's what I call it. It's the International Speculation Station. So like, what's at the north? What's on beyond Antarctica? The more lands. I think that actually like hurts our arguments, because we do have so much science and stuff we could talk about that we don't need to venture off into like vain speculation that profits nothing. We'll get there when we get there, right? When we get all our technology
I agree
back.
with that. It confuses people too, new people.
I agree, 100%. What can we prove? If we talk about that and only that, we're not going to get derailed with like Admiral Byrd saying there's more land. Byrd was a Mason. Byrd worked for the government.
Right,
Now,
or did he even exist? I mean, there's a lot of that. You know what I mean? Do you know? Do you really know? I don't know.
Did you know him? I know him. Was he trustworthy? I don't know. You know what I mean?
It's kind of like talking about Tesla. Did he exist? I'm not against talking about Tesla, but go ahead, what?
I think Tesla was part of the plot too, because I think they knew all this back in ancient Egypt. So what they wanted to do was say, oh, look, we were kind of figuring it out in the early 1900s, but it got buried. Oh, no. It's like, no. They have to hide all the history, and they need characters on both sides of history to be like, oh, this was the good guy.
Einstein, you know.
Exactly, yeah. And then you've got the Einstein, and oh, you know, they're conflicted. And it's just a perfect plot, in my opinion. But yeah, I want to go over the drive and share my screen if I could. It'll take about 3 to 5 minutes, but there's a lot of good info. I think a lot of people are going to want to put these up.
Go ahead and share screen. It won't be full screen, but share it.
Yeah.
No, please. Yeah, Skype would like to. Oh, I have to open system settings. Give me 2 seconds, guys.
Okay.
Hello to Joseph Hanvey in the chat, and Fast Eddie Flathead, and John Keeley, and Lowry, and Ronald Bramwell, and let's see, Pirate Mantra, P-I-R-A-T-E-M-A-N-T-R-A, 2 words, is in the chat, and he's got a Flat Earth band with Flat Earth songs. So find him in the chat if you're watching live, or just remember the name Pirate Mantra and or Mantra, and definitely subscribe to get some Flat Earth music coming your way. Look at the beautiful dog that DJ is holding.
I know, I almost got jealous and brought Gio over here. Gio, you want to come say hi? Come here, I'll give you a treat. Come here. I have the best Flat Earth dog. His name's Gio. He's a coonhound. It's like half bloodhound, half foxhound. Absolutely love the guy. Can you guys see my screen?
No, just you at this point.
Oh, I didn't know they could still see me. I thought I can't see this show anymore.
Oh, that's true, because maybe it is on the screen. Wait, let me...
I don't think you can do it, Nathan. You may not be
Daisy's on the show.
Our OBS is fine, but what you're doing in Skype, I have no idea what it's doing.
Oh, no worries. I can just go over. Okay, there's a video.
Yeah, just go over. You got 10 minutes. Hit us with whatever you can. Rapid fire.
Yeah, there's a video clips with maybe 50 to 60 videos in here. It's got flat Earth models, high altitude balloon footage, zooming in on boats, zooming in on cities, Rob Skiba explaining why things disappear bottom first, videos on sacred geometry. I've got Vika Draziv's Mechanical Realm and Flatten the Curve documentary in there. I got videos on Satelloons, astronauts like passing out in a vacuum. The Planet Lockdown documentaries on here, Cold Moonlight Test, Sun Shrinking in Angular Size. Everything you need to show someone like the basics of Flat Earth on here. Then we've got TikTok videos I've ripped off TikTok, keynote speeches, my Flat Earth 101 speech, my NASA's Faking Everything speech, and government documents, and then biblical cosmology. And I got one on the Plandemic, a speech on that too as well. Then you go to books and you open up the old file, And there's literally 100 authors separated by author. And like you click on Robotham and it has like 40 news articles and pamphlets and books that he wrote. And it's got that for like Picard and Tesla and Carpenter and Gleason. And like all the legends are in here. And then you go to ancient, African, Australian, biblical, Chinese, Greek, Hindu, Irish, Islamic, Japanese, Mayan, medieval, Norse. Click on biblical. Apocrypha has like 60 documents in here. Anything you've ever tried to find that's like hidden from the Bible pretty much can find on here. And then you go to memes and you click on ancient cosmology. There's like 200 sky maps, ancient medieval sky maps and flat earth maps. They're just brilliant. I got to start turning some of those into shirts. And probably like 1,000 other memes, Tesla memes, logical evidence, biblical stuff. And then you go to astrophotography. This has the Georgia Guidestones, what real stars look like, star trails, all that good stuff. I got some music, and then I have a flat earth model, but it's not Walter Bislin's flat earth model. A flat earther edited it so you can put real star constellations in the sky, and you can turn them on and turn them off, and it's just like more advanced than Walter Bislin's. And he just puts fake stars in the sky and then like draws lines to them. I think what he did with this is a lot better. It's called Komodo's Flat Earth Model. So that's a thumb drive. If anyone needs one, email me, flatearthflyers@gmail.com. Thank you, Mark, for letting me share that. Appreciate it.
Oh, no, absolutely. You keep going. What else you want to...
I just need more eyes on it because like I can't read all these books, right? But the information is so good on here that there's like 35 gigs of information, and it's just nice to have it all in one place. I mean, you could get most of these videos on my TikTok, but it's nice to have them all in one place. The speeches, the books. You can't get the books anywhere. I mean, I know my buddy Paul spent 3 years calling libraries and getting them to digitize a lot of these books. Some of these books he had to pay to have them digitized, 10 or 20 bucks. But shout out Paul. He put all of that together for me and said, here, Nate, run with it. And so that's what I've been doing.
Hey, while you're on that real quick, because we do have a few minutes left. I want you to have the last word, but I want our lovely host to do it as well. The did you ever see, because the guy that's trying to put together the, good Lord, what happened to your picture? That's because Nathan was doing something. Holy smokes. Patricia is
huge.
Taking over the screen. Shocking. No one.
It's the hat.
It's the hat.
Time for communist Russia.
And now I got it. Oh, good Lord, Nathan.
Well, Russia is a big country.
What'd I do?
No, you're good. You're good. So, Nathan, real quick on the books. Did you ever see, because the guy that's trying to do the conference was asking me, have you seen the 1950, I'm sure David Weiss has already seen it. Have you seen the 1958 encyclopedia reference that people have been talking about over the years? Have you seen it yourself or seen facsimiles of it?
Dude, it's not Encyclopedia Britannica, it's Encyclopedia Americana. A lot of people buy the wrong version of the encyclopedia because they'll find it on eBay. But yeah, don't do that. It's Americana one. I think it's 52.
Is it like a publisher's clearinghouse or what's the other one? American Standard with.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
But do you know that? I mean, you know the reference though that we're talking. Yeah, the one that people have said. Oh, the encyclopedia talked about the dome, and it's like, really? It's like, all right. I mean, I believe it. Why wouldn't it?
I think the sky, a map and a clock, and then also gas pressure. Like those are great arguments that just they can't be argued against. Like what an encyclopedia said is pretty anecdotal in my opinion.
Yeah, there you go. My favorite has always been gas pressure, and yet the average person, since they don't get it, you know, there's again, which is why Antarctica, not to beat a dead horse, but Antarctica wasn't going to solve anything because how can you explain Antarctica to the general masses? They're mouth breathers. They don't get it. You could say 24-hour sun. It's like, huh? They don't know.
Well, it's just like Behind the Curve and the experiment that Jaron did. People walked away from that saying, oh, I guess disprove flat Earth. But if you ask them what exactly happened, they would have no idea. And just like people are reading the news media stuff that's out with Jaron that has all these titles about that he realized he was wrong and Earth is actually a globe. They're not even going to get past the first couple sentences because people have short attention spans to get to the part where whoever writes the damn story says, oh, he still believes the Earth is flat.
Yeah, Jaron, if you're listening or if anyone wants to send this little soundbite to him, all the OG creators are behind you. There's nobody. I haven't run into anybody that I would consider super significant along those lines that is slicing and dicing you up. Yeah. So
well, even if
don't
new
sweat
people, it doesn't have to be OG that
I'm sure you don't like the fact you can Google your name or just Flat Earth in general and click on news and see your face with your hoodie and your sunglasses. Yeah, that will pass eventually. But
and
hey,
I'm sure
you know what?
he's
And
mad
I said,
at the people who betrayed him. I'd be.
Of course.
I actually read a comment in the chat that Jaren's live right now, like yelling at all the flat earthers.
Well, hey, you know what? I'd be, if it were me, I'd be more than tempted.
Let me throw this out there because Austin said this in his interview recently on that long stream he did. People said, "Oh, they shouldn't have gone." It's like, no, they really did. And Austin said it probably the best. He goes, "If we didn't go, they would have dragged someone in. They would have planted someone as a
fake
flat
earther to turn right there in Antarctica." For sure.
Somebody with three teeth in their whole head. You know, oh well. You know, and then they look, and then the video just runs wild, and people are like, "We don't even know that guy." So for Austin to say, "Look," seriously, he was sincere. He goes, "I would have rather had me go than to have somebody else go in my place." And it's like, "Yep, sure." I mean, I considered it for a split second. I really did, and then I thought, "Oh God, no." I can't do it. Mostly because the people. It's like, no, I didn't want to spend time with the trolls, and again, if you're caught on camera saying the wrong thing just for a second. Anyway, Nathan, we're winding down, so we'll let Patricia and DJ get their shots in a second. Final messages to anything you want to throw out there for people.
Yeah. Be the change you want to see on flat Earth. The truth is incontrovertible. Malice will attack it. Ignorance will try and deride it. But in the end, there it is. Once you can lead a globe earther to flat water, but you cannot make them think critically about the shape of the Earth. So say less to more people, and once you glow flat, you never glow back. So it's just nice.
I love it.
It's nice around family. Thanks so much. I enjoyed I was more nervous coming here than for the debates that I do, because the debates I do are like second nature. But when I come on here and talk to truthers, like, I don't know, I just get nervous. Like,
are you kidding? Wait, I mean, we're not biting people's heads off in this show.
No, I thought you might take my birthday away, so I was worried about that.
Nice. Okay, Patricia, any thoughts?
I don't really have anything else to say, but for those who celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas, and for those who don't,
it's already Christmas on the East Coast.
You see it as being pagan, etc. Okay, well, enjoy your day tomorrow, because you probably don't have to work, and it'll be chill. So enjoy that, and Nastarovia, I think is what you'd say if you were really Russian. And I'm pretending to be Russian with this hat today.
I love
it. DJ?
Just thank you so much, Nathan, for coming on here and sharing all those great flat Earth proofs. You had a part in my kind of just journey getting to where I am today. So thank you for that. And just, you know, you kind of put it best where it's like being humble. This is a humbling experience when you come to flat Earth, and it means that we're teachable. That's what the Bible says are the meek. In a lot of ways, I kind of associate it with that. And, you know, it's not about that we become perfect. It just kind of helped me become aware of how much I need God. And so thank you for all that you do. And just God bless. And you guys follow him. Go check out his stuff. It's awesome what he's doing on TikTok. He's always on there debating. Check out Modern Day Debate. Support him. It's the least we can do to kind of push this narrative forward, because he's out there like on the front lines, putting in the hard work. So thank you.
Thank you, Nathan. Can you play us out, Nathan?
Well, wait.
Okay.
I gotta mention really fast, because we will keep the guitar. Keep the guitar. The guitar reminds me of something. I gotta mention this really quick for the little trivia for the people that don't remember or don't know, and that was Nathan was this close to full-blown media glory, in that when the Amazing Race people contacted me some years ago, and they are saying, who can we have on there? Because it's like, hey, can you and Bob want like lumbering around? It's like, man, I don't know, we want to do that. And I said, you know the guy that you need on that show, Nathan Thompson.
Yeah, and
the man was, and I go rewatch this documentary and watch his section again. He would be perfect. I don't think he even has an inner narrative. I think he would drive everyone nuts. I wrote the script for it. I said, he's the guy. Our team would be great. And just make sure that we're not kicked off right away. And unfortunately, and you guys did great, by the way, you and Matt Long, who they ended up choosing, to go. Unfortunately, the internet content creators couldn't get off the internet long enough. They wanted to be paid. And so the entire internet, that whole season collapsed and it never happened. But I was so rooting for you, man.
Well,
a lot of personality.
Geo has made his appearance, although disappearing in and out the green screen. You heard me say his name.
Oh, that's adorable. Okay, we'll be back next week. Same flat time, same flat channel. I don't know who's going to be on next week. We're still working that out. It could be Witsit, it could be Jaron, it could be Elizabeth, it could be anything. We don't know. So we'll surprise you next week, and it'll be New Year's Eve show because holidays we don't care. So say goodnight, Patricia.
Good night, everyone.
Say goodnight, DJ.
Good night, Strange World. Stay curious.
Say goodnight, Nathan.
Later, love. Thanks for having me on. You guys are all awesome, dude. I love you guys. Much
Awesome.
love.
We're going to just play the music. You'll see the slides on your screen. If you want to listen to Alex Lowry thing, you can just click on the feed wherever it is. So thanks, everybody. Hot sex. Yeah, it was fun. Stay with us for a couple minutes, Nathan. This will be over in 3. Yeah. Please do. Please do. Oh, neat. Yeah, let me just wrap up the show and we'll close out. Yeah, what you see on screen, that slideshow, that's what's playing. Yeah. Oh, absolutely, man. Circling the wagons is key right now, and I think it'll be, well, I'm gonna do what I can. The conference is gonna be my big focus. Right. By the way, Nathan, will you come to Georgia if we do a conference? I don't know yet because we haven't seen the speaker lineup yet because we haven't even gotten that far, but we're still working on the venue. But right now it looks pretty good. So there's a because I was worried about the social stuff of it, and one of the guys that's tied to the guy that's thinking about doing the conference, he actually runs a distillery that can hold 400 people. And I go, really, a full-blown distillery? That might work. No, and Vegas did, but you had to leave the facility. I mean, this is a full-blown thing where you'd have, I mean, you're basically building an auditorium around a bar. So, That would be kind of cool. Well, it's going to be... mine might be. Why? Yours isn't, though. Oh, Jaren's already live right now? Oh, that's what. All right, I'll head over there.
Paige needs to get into her PJs with her
No, he wouldn't have gone after David.
and her 6
Well, maybe. We'll see.
Night, Mark.
Mike Jack. All right. We got to get him on.
Same link every week. It never changes.
Yeah, I know. I should paste it somewhere, I think. All right, show this ends in 10 seconds.